My people, this video, let's just get into this. This is not a joke. It's a trigger warning because I do understand this is a very serious matter and this is not a joke. And for me, it's not a joke. And this is the last time I speak on these sort of segments because I'll be honest, I never ever want my own kind. I never ever want black women or listen, I never ever want black women to have some hatred for me. But at the same time, sometimes you have to do what you feel is right. Now, I was a big supporter of Les. A big supporter of Les. When she told her story, I knew about it before she even told her story. I spoke to her. And before I even get on, I've seen loads of segments, messages. I've seen Elaine DePayne do a video. And to be honest, I wish Elaine DePayne didn't even do a video because the fact that she's getting so much backlash, but in my head, I was like, look, I know the facts of the case. The facts. And what Loyce is saying, it's crazy how someone can come on the internet, tell you guys a story, and then on the jump of that story, that no matter what anyone says, I believe that story. And what I'm going to tell you is actually the facts. So what we're going to do, we're going to play Loyce's segments. We're going to play, obviously, the other girl that's involved. Elaine DePayne done a video. And I'm going to tell you that the absolute facts with CCTV, with backed up, step by step, what's happened. Because one thing that we can't allow here, and this is just a message just to the community, bro, like, if this was your dad, your brother, like, I know I've been hearing in certain lives people saying, bro, if it was my brother, my dad, I would still believe the girl. And I do understand that. And there's so many cases that scumbags get away with things. Some scumbags get away with things. And I want you lot to understand before I even start, bro, I'm an advocate for women in general. Like, street niggas, they get onto me. They hate my guts. You see, when I'm exposing street guys for slashing up putting hits and slashing up their girls, or I'm exposing, or I'm dealing with LV General, and I'm dealing with all these people in a way. Like, I'm exposing this, I'm exposing. You go on my platform, bro, like, it's all for women. It's all to show my support for women. So when I gave Loyce 24 hours, I watched the first segment in February or March, whatever the BKChat reunion that happened. I spoke to Loyce. I highlighted to her, which a black woman came up to me and said, yo, this is what's happened to her. I know the whole case. Allegedly, she has just framed the person and the person got not guilty for great, whatever. She's messaged me. She's having her problems with whoever she's having her problems with on BKChat. And I messaged her. I said, look, get me, I know what's going on here. Boom, 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 boom. I hope you're good. I didn't judge her. I didn't get into it. You get me? And she's just like, who told you? Who told you? Who told you? I says, look, I'm not going to tell you who told me, but someone told me. I just left it like that. Cool. Now, there's so much things to cover in this. It's just going to take some time. So my head's all over the place. And do you know what it is? I just think that the internet's gone crazy. There's no traditional system. There's no, like, forget about courts and forget about the word not guilty. Like, if it's a not guilty, it's still a guilty. You get me? If it's a not guilty, it's still a guilty. I reacted to Loyce's segment, just like everyone. It blew up. There's actually real victims that actually follow her. Real victims follow her. Real victims has been in these situations. So now what I'm going to do is give you the facts of the case. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call out people like Midday. I have a lot of respect for Midday. Obviously, Elaine DePayne phoned my phone already. Elaine DePayne gets onto me multiple times when I cover this segment. Make sure that I'm not doing it in a certain way. So I'm trying my best to do it in a certain, like, to do it in the right way. But when things like this is getting said online, you've done a video online, and it's affected. This is a man, bro, that got arrested at his school. He's a school teacher. He got arrested at his school and lost his job. This is a man that was suicidal, that's going through it. This is a man that's going through madness. And then you go online and then you tell this story, and then you think that no one's gonna rebuttal it. No one's not gonna come forward. It makes no sense. And people can't, you can't expect just one person to say a story and then the truth is gonna come out, or the facts is gonna come out. Like, I'm sorry, you can't expect someone to say it and then everyone to keep quiet, because it's just crazy. And it's crazy now how everyone's trying to, like, now that the old friend has done her segment and that's not in support with Loyce, or everyone's disregarding what the old friend has said. But anyway, look, let's get into this. And by the way, I just want you lot to know, yeah, you see, when you have a court case, even though we don't care about court cases, there was 6 women that were jewelers that was in the jury. 6 men, six women. But what I'm going to do, we're just going to listen to everything that Loyces said. We're going to listen to everything what everyone said, and then I'm going to give you the facts. I'm going to give you the facts of the case. Like, the facts of the case that I can tell midday, go and watch this CCTV. Midday, go listen to this Ring Door audio and video. Midday, go and do this. Go and see the facts of the case. But anyway, look, let's get into it.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to start off by saying the biggest thank you to you all. My eyes are really small because I have spent so much time crying, and even now I can't indulge in the thank you too much because I won't get through this video and I've got to try and get through it. So I wanted to say thank you first of all. Why am I doing this now? I'm doing this because reporting to the police is already traumatic. Okay, but that wait that you do from when you give your statement to finding out if the suspect has been charged is excruciating. I spent most of the time looking at stats, and you know, when the stats are stacked up against me, because the chances of going to court were just pretty much at 0. When I got that call to say he's been charged on 3 counts of rape, I knew instantly at that moment that I knew immediately that I'm going to want to speak to women one day about this, to try and protect women. It's not about being a hero. It's not about having a heroic story. Because let me be clear, the evidence was overwhelming. The evidence was overwhelming, and he got a not guilty verdict on the smallest technicality.
She said that he got a not guilty verdict on the smallest technicality. He got a unanimous decision, not guilty, by all 12 people in the jury. We can see what's going on with young Philly, where they can't even come up to a verdict. So the judge has ordered them to do a majority vote, just to let you know. And just to let you know, when I watched this video and I reported on the video, and then I knew the facts of the case, I told them, I told these people I'm not reporting on it. If I report on it, the black community, black women, gonna say that man's coming and man's just popped down a black woman. Like, even knowing the facts, I said I'm not putting myself in this firing line. I just want to make it be known. I'm saying, cool. If someone's coming online and they're rebuttaling it and they're saying this is not true, which the friend did, then, man, like, as a brother, this could happen to anyone. Man needs to talk about it, or it needs to be out there, because she's saying her version of events. But anyway, cool.
When you hear it, you think you're mad? You will know mad. I was taken back to the Diddy case. Epstein files, gonna be released. They've been released. No arrests. Okay. Lord, what's going on? I thought I wrestled with God after my dad died. Oh, no. That was nothing. The laws were created by criminals. So there will never really be justice. The powers that be at the top are doing the very things that we want justice from. If the laws are created to actually really criminalize men that do this, the powers that be would also be criminalized.
And from obviously what I took from this is there's a group of the mandem that's literally this place here that they've gone to. Drinks have been spiked and everyone's been spiked. Everyone's going through it because you're talking about Epstein, Diddy, and watching the segments. I'm saying, yo, cool. Everyone's been spiked. Everyone's been spiked. You've gone to this event. There's a group of men targeting women. This is what came into my head.
So they protect the men down here so that they're protected at the top. And I said, Lord, what's going on? What is this? I was taken back to the start. Adam and Eve. Stay with me for a sec. Stay with me for a sec. Adam and Eve. Looking at the curses. Okay? Childbirth will be painful. You know, those kind of things. Okay, you shall desire the man and he shall rule over you. Okay, and then there was this. Do you know what the word enmity means? It means a state of deep-seated hatred. Ill will towards someone, intense hostility. Isn't that what we see going on in the world? What am I trying to tell you, ladies? This thing is spiritual. Whether you know it or not, this thing is spiritual. So I'm wrestling with God. I'm going, okay, cool. You show me that scripture, okay, cool. What do we do now? Because your word says you put that there. You put that there. So what's going on? Let's go back to the beginning. Adam and Eve ate the fruit. The Bible teaches that Eve was the one who was deceived. The serpent spoke to Eve and said, if you eat this fruit, you won't die. You will actually be like God. He's trying to convince you that you're not like him. They formed an alliance in the garden against God. Adam ate the fruit from disobedience. It wasn't deception. And so God put that enmity there so that an alliance is never formed between them again. It was actually to protect the idea of them ever reconciling. But on the other side of that is the spiritual warfare. So I don't know where my heart sits with that. Because it feels like what it is suggesting is that this isn't going to stop anytime soon. And I think I know that. And so I sit with a heavy heart. That's why I'm saying it's not a heroic story. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. The Bible says that when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of God will raise a standard against him. My voice, I wanted to be a part of that standard against the powers of darkness that come against women. Enough is enough. This is a battle cry. This is Sparta for me. Riding at dawn, yeah. Against the powers of evil that rule this world.
Let's play chapter 1. We're getting to chapter 1. Obviously, she says, like I said, due to the not guilty verdict, she's restricted to say certain things. Yeah.
I went to celebrate a friend's birthday. It's two of us. We got tickets for an event. It was on a Sunday. I got there before her, maybe about 8 p.m. And I just sat and waited for her. Caught a vibe by myself, as you do when you're waiting. And I saw a guy that was good looking. I saw a guy that was, to my liking. And, I noticed him notice me. He was near me. And a lady went round with a platter of shots. The bottle ladies, what they do, right? So I watched him pick up 2 shots. I watched him pick up 2 shots and pass one down to me. He slid it on the table down to me. Remember, I've watched the whole thing. So I've cheersed, cool, we've got a bit of a vibe. Then my friend has come. She looks great, birthday girl. We're having a great time. And this guy was also waiting for some of his friends. So his friends came around the same time.
She said, cool, boom, birthday girl, was having a good time. I'm always going to put these points that I'm going to raise. That's all we know. Cool.
As the time my friend arrived as well. So it was kind of like a quick, big hello amongst all of us. And then me and my girl were off on our way, doing our videos, whatever, dancing, having a great time. She looked amazing. And then at some point she went towards the bar and then came back and had 2 drinks. And she was like, hey girls, I've got some drinks. I was like, okay, cool. So obviously I'm thinking, you're the birthday girl, I expect people to buy you drinks, but someone's extended a drink to me too. Great, thank you.
She said again, she's the birthday girl. Just highlighting that.
Take a sip, I'm having a great time, I'm dancing, and then I was woken up 8 a.m. by a man that I didn't know.
She stated that she woke up at 8 a.m. by a man that she didn't know. So I presume that she totally blacked out. So obviously from what's happened, obviously her friend buying her drinks, whatnot, she's blacked out and she's woken up by a man she didn't know.
That's how it happened for me.
Okay, for her. She said it happened for her.
There was no dark, mysterious figure in a corner that I saw lurking, and I was like, oh, it was not the guy that I had a vibe with at the beginning that slid the shot to me. It was someone completely different. And I'm sharing it with you like that because I need you to understand how easy it can happen. People are getting better at being predators. And because people are getting better at being predators, it means that there isn't the perfect victim anymore. Before, if you walk down the street, someone might come out of a bush, and that's not to take the mick out of anyone that's had an experience like that. Someone might come out of a bush, oh my gosh, something has happened, da, da, da. Now, I could go on a date with a man and be date raped. And so the lines become blurred now, making it even harder for victims. I refuse to call myself a victim though. So yeah, I only have a recollection of about 45 minutes of that night. And then I was suddenly woken up by a man I don't know, in a house I don't know. You know when you wake up from a dream, from a nap, and you're like, who am I? Where am I? What am I? Imagine that times 10, and you're waking up in a house you don't know.
Obviously, she's saying that she's been waking up from a man she don't know. She don't know this person.
I felt like I was in the movie Taken. Hey! Wow, my God.
Now, that is, when you're saying things like that, like being in a movie, Taken, literally, yeah.
I'm remembering it. I just remember waking up and looking around and being like, oh, even doing that, my body felt like it was back there. I'm not going to do that again. I just remember looking around so distressed, being like, how did I get here? So this man tells me, yeah, you got wasted last night, you were quite drunk and security was asking for someone to help take you home. You were there till about 3 a.m. I said, 3 a.m.? I planned to leave at 10:30. He said, yeah, you were throwing up, like you were proper out of it.
So obviously she's saying that, this man saying that she was throwing up and security asked someone to take her home. I'm highlighting all these things because these are very important things. I don't want you guys saying I'm being insensitive or whatnot, but I have to highlight these things. Sorry.
So I thought I'd bring you back to mine to let you sleep it off.
And she said that I thought I'll bring you back to mine to let you sleep it off. Just these are key things, guys. Yeah.
Okay. And then I've asked him, did we do anything? when Mika didn't want to go to the hideaway with Simba, we watched his demeanor change, right? Okay. I'm not saying Simba's a predator, by the way. When I asked this man if we did anything, the whole demeanor changed. It went from explaining the night to suddenly, yeah, we did 3 times, you don't remember? Suddenly, it went from, I understand this girl can't remember anything, to, you better remember this.
Remember, she's saying that she can't remember anything. She blacked out or whatnot. Then he's supposed to have got defensive and saying, can't remember, we done it 3 times.
Because you've just exposed yourself. You've just told me how wasted I was and I needed to sleep it off, and apparently I had enough energy to be intimate. And I'm asking more details around this intimacy, and what I'm hearing is not making me happy. And then I asked, where's my phone? And he said, you don't have your phone. You have so-and-so's phone, who's the birthday girl.
So obviously she's just discovering now that she's got so-and-so's phone, who's the birthday girl. That's what she's discovering when she's woken up in the morning, that she's got so-and-so's phone. Remember, guys, what I say afterwards is going to be backed up with facts, like facts of the case, step-by-step facts. Like, you can bring any, I don't know, influencer or anyone can contact me and I will confirm it. I'll get it confirmed. You can link certain people and get it confirmed. But yeah.
I had her phone. I'm thinking, what? I've gone to my bag. It's empty. And it went from Loyce gathering information to Loyce in complete panic. I was a damsel in distress, and I hate the fact that he saw me that way. No one has ever seen me cry the way I cried that day. I cried. What's scary is how the lies and the manipulation started immediately. He saw me in tears, and I could tell my tears made him more angry than they did make him feel any empathy. Guys, I was at his mum's house. Remember, I didn't know where I was. I'm crying, and this African woman comes in. What's going on? And I'm literally like, I don't know why I'm here.
So obviously, she's confirmed she's at his mum's house. Obviously, she woke up in the house. I get it, cool. In the scene from Taken, like, it's just some madness happened and she's in an abandoned building, by the way, but cool. This is a man's mum. A man's mum's house, not a bando. It's his house, his mother's house. This is a school teacher's mother. He lives at home with his mum. Okay.
His mum away. He told her to leave. And then said to me, can you stop crying? You're scaring my mum. I told you his demeanor changed. I told you. And you know he's stressed. So he's trying to make me the problem. I asked, where's my friend? Why do I have her phone? Oh, I don't know. She left you. The whole demeanor changed. But I knew there's no way that my friend left me because I have her phone. I knew this man wanted to paint a narrative that basically I was left on my own and he was the only person that could help me. I'm so sorry. I've been out many times. I've been to DOT Malta twice. Drinking from 12 p.m. to 3 a.m. I've been able to get home, the Ubers, the Airbnbs, the everything. I can go out in London. I can get home. I was in central London. I could get home, yo. It was a Sunday. I didn't go out planning to sleep with anyone. So my spirit knew immediately what was going on. And so I said, okay, Loyce, you need to act like you bought his story, that he saved you, basically. Just don't ask any more questions, kind of thing. Just be agreeable, be cooperative so that you can leave. And, he got me a cab. I didn't give him my address.
I'll be honest with you. Obviously you don't know. Obviously his mum's house. Unless we're alleging that his mum's a monster as well or whatnot. But the way how it's being said is like, yo. But anyway, cool. We're gonna go into it.
I had nothing
And the reason
else.
why my energy is like this, because when I start telling the facts of what's going on, I'm disappointed, I'm annoyed, and I'm trying to I'm trying to listen to what Elaine the Pain said in terms of the way how I say the way how I'm going to report on this, because it's a trigger warning.
My bag, so as far as I know, you could have my keys. If I give you my full address, you could show up. So I calmed down enough to get the cab and everything, and then once I got in the cab, I started crying again. It was just, I wouldn't stop. The cab driver was like, "Are you okay? Do you want me to take you to the police station?" You know, all that kind of stuff. But for some reason, I just wanted to get home. That's the first thing I wanted to do.
So she said that the cab driver said, "Is she okay? Do you want me to take you to the police station?" This is what she said.
It's almost like I wanted to get home and then call the police, basically. But I went to the letting agent to get a spare key. As soon as I walked in, they've looked at me like, "Are you okay?" So remember, I had not looked at myself. I had not looked in the mirror from when I woke up in the morning. So I didn't know what I looked like. And straight away, they knew something had happened, because it's about 9 a.m. and I'm walking in. I'm like, "Hi, you manage one of the properties that I live in, and something's happened." And as they're asking me, they call the police straight away. They were like, "Something's happened." The police come. I call my mum, because that's the only number I knew off by heart. She, bless her, she came down. Police took urine samples, and the investigation pretty much started immediately. I get back to my house with the spare keys that I was given, and 2 detectives come to my house and they sit me down. Now, we use their phone to call my phone. When I called my phone, a girl picked up. "Oh my gosh, hey babe, do you remember me from last night?" I'm going, "Yeah, kind of, like, yeah, I kind of remember, you know, a light-skinned girl kind of thing." And she was just like, yeah, we were together last night. I ended up with your phone. And I was like, "Babe, I think I was spiked." And she was like, "Babe, same. Oh my God, something felt different about those drinks." That's what she's saying. So the detectives are sitting there going, you know, and I'm sitting there on loudspeaker like, you know, it's, you know, so then they take the phone. They're like, "Oh, thank you so much, you know."
Obviously, from the police being there, I need to confirm this. Like, just want to confirm this. From the police, listen to this. This should be in the case papers, because obviously the police are there now, innit? So this should be evidence. But anyway, cool.
"Would you be okay with giving a statement," kind of thing? And she was like, yeah, that's fine, no problem at all. And then I told her that, "Babe, I ended up with someone last night, ended up sleeping with me," and she screamed. The girl screamed on the phone. She was like, "I'm so sorry this happened to you. It shouldn't have happened. Something was in those drinks yesterday." And then my friend manages to call.
So she said, "Remember, it's fine. Please, are you okay to give a statement?" Just so we know. So we have potentially one witness going on, because the police is there. They're present, by the way. The police is present. So when all this is happening, obviously the police are going to put it in.
Call her own phone. She managed to find a way to call her own phone. So you can imagine, when I'm seeing this phone ringing, I'm looking at it thinking, I don't even know who this is. So I pick up and it's her. I'm literally like, "Oh my God, babe." It was like that. Like, "Babe, where were you? And what happened?" And that was when it really became real. You know, I told her, "Babe, I was taken to a house in this area." And then she was like, "I was taken to a house in this area." And I realized,
this is why it's so crazy. Wow. Jury find UK YouTuber Young Philly not guilty of rape in Perth after woman. This has just come through my phone. Wow. Sorry guys, I know I'm dealing with that, but I've just received that. It's come from my phone. This is 8:30 in the morning. But found him guilty for love bites. Sorry guys. But anyway.
and then I remember I was on the phone to the other girl who said, "Yeah, I think I was spiked too." And I was like, oh my gosh, the 2 detectives are sitting there going, whoa, this is bigger than we thought.
So this whole thing that she's saying here, remember, police are involved, detectives, this is a whole another case now. Investigation is bigger than you thought. A few days later, an old friend who was at the same event called me looking for me. She told me I lost my friend, tried to go home with her, and we were split. She also basically was awoken by a man in the morning. So basically, she's saying there's another person that's come out and said this. So it seems to me like, I think a couple of them has been woken up and just in bed with another man. Okay, cool. Cool. Let's go on to the next segment.
I arrive at the courts, and after having my bags searched and checked, I was then taken immediately to go and view the CCTV that was collected. And I'm telling you to.
By the way, we're at the time where obviously, boom, my man has now obviously said that, you get me, went to the state agents, police was called, my man got arrested at his workplace in school, and now obviously the trial, all the evidence, everything's come together, the facts of the case. So we're here now.
Do that fast because that's how it felt in the moment. You also have to understand that the whole way through up until the trial, I did not know what evidence was collected. So the fact that they're even saying you have to go and watch CCTV, I'm processing the fact that CCTV was captured. So I'm like, as I'm walking to this room, I'm going, oh, there's CCTV. There were 2 clips. One was 30 minutes.
Well, if you put out a case of allegation, obviously the police, the Crown prosecution that's in the favor of Loyce needs to gather every bit of evidence to prove the case, to find the defendant guilty. Obviously, it's down to the defendant's lawyers to then bring other bits of evidence to prove that what Loyce is saying is not true.
One was 20 minutes. And it was basically the same footage but 2 different camera angles. As the footage begins, I see that there's, a few people towards the end of the night. It was 3 a.m. And you could see like guys and girls, just a few. And, it was clear that it was like the cleanup crew as well, kind of thing that was ending the night. And I am there belligerently drunk. I am there by myself. Like, I was like a child. That was what my mannerisms were like. I was like just all over the place. There was a point someone was walking.
So basically, she's saying that she's there by herself. She's drunk. She's around these times in the morning. She don't really know no one, whatnot. I'm just making sure I say that.
Past, I was like waving at them like a child. I also couldn't stand. I couldn't even sit properly. There was the one security guard obviously helping to stabilize me, and there was a point where he needed to attend to something, and there was like a flower bed that he basically made me sit on. And as the time was passing, you just watch me just slowly just start to go down, and my legs are lifting up at the same time, and then you watch the security guard run, put me back and sit normally. I saw myself throwing up. I saw myself spitting.
Bear in mind, she has said that obviously the defendant saw her throwing up and spitting. She's stating that she was throwing up and spitting with the security guard. Just highlighting these bits.
My shoes were off in the rain. It was raining and my shoes were off. I was bare feet walking around on a wet floor. The suspect was in the same footage, kissing another girl. So whilst I'm here...
The suspect was in the same place and kissing another girl.
Security guard is taking care of me. He was kissing another girl. Now, in my opinion, what was going on between them looked quite romantic. She was very much involved. He was involved. And I'm looking at this footage and I'm going, what? Like, I'm just shocked, because I'm like, this is a no-brainer. Like, I'm just looking and I'm looking, and I think one of the heartbreaking things about the footage was I could see the girl glancing over at me. I saw her look over at me a couple times because I was everywhere. I was gone. The lights were on, but no one was home. There was a point I even stood up and kind of went towards where a few people were and then came back. It was a mess. I remember seeing two women in the footage, and at a point comes where they leave and I'm left with the few guys that are there. And you could tell they were trying to help me get home.
She said she's left with the two guys that were there. So one being the defendant and another guy. Yeah.
But I was just given the wrong postcode because I was like gesturing for. I could see myself saying SE25 for such. So in my mind, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. They can tell the lights are on, but I'm not home. Like, I'm not coherent. I'm giving you the wrong postcode. And I had lived at my new address for a while. So there was one of the guys that was there.
Obviously, she's explaining herself, and this one, boom. Remember, she blacked out. Of course, she blacked out and just woke up in someone's bed, in a stranger's bed. But now she's explaining herself about the postcode afterwards, 3 a.m. Okay, no problem.
That actually knew me, so he knew I was giving the wrong postcode. So in my mind, I'm like, everybody there then would know that.
Okay, she confirms that one of the guys knew her.
I'm not there, because he would have been able to say to everyone, that's not where she lives. You get it? So a point comes where I'm sliding down a wall, like I'm just sliding, and then I just sit in a squatted position and I just topple over on the floor in the rain. The security guard comes back, helps sit me up. They're literally holding my head up like this, and I'm like that. That's how it was.
To the point that she's so drunk, she is paralytic. Like, she can't walk, she's so drunk, basically.
The person that I viewed was not Loyce. Then, in the whole kerfuffle, I see myself lip-sync the suspect. And I looked at the footage.
So she saw herself lips-sync kissing the, obviously, suspect, the defendant.
And I was so confused. Because I went from being...
Just so we know, there's footage. She's talking about the footage. But I'm going to tell you the facts of the footage.
The perfect victim to not being the perfect victim. But all I know is I'm looking at this man that is absolutely not my type. I'm looking at a man that was previously kissing another girl, and I'm looking and I'm knowing Loyce is not home. Yes, I'm kissing him, but Loyce is not home. Another thing that was interesting that I observed in the footage was the suspect had my bag at some point, and it was a bag that you put like this, but I watched him put it over my head like this. Remember, I'm not allowed to lie. If someone has a bag like this, would you hand it to them? You wouldn't, right? You would give it to them in your hand and let them take it, because then they will. So for me, the fact that the suspect put the bag over my head like this, the strap, tells me that he knew I was gone. And then towards the end of the footage, I watched myself being taken away, waddling, I'm waddling, shoes off still. I'm being taken by two men to a cab.
She watched herself being taken away by two men by a cab.
I've seen trolls in the comments saying, she was seen kissing him, she was seen kissing him. Yes, I'm not running away from that. Oh, you guys thought I was going to come on here and lie. No, I was. How long do you normally lip someone, guys? Usually what? 30 seconds if it's passionate or whatever. It was sloppy, it wasn't cute. And it was about 45 seconds, man.
So she saw she saw the same defendant kissing another girl, and then now, obviously, she's kissing the guy, the same defendant.
Let me even exaggerate. Let's say it was a minute. What did I say at the start? The whole clip was 30 minutes. So to the trolls that are, she was seen kissing, why don't you tell everyone else what was going on in the other 29 minutes?
Oh wait, I will. I would definitely tell you what was going on, backed up with facts for anyone to reach out to man to confirm what I'm saying is, yeah, I will. But anyway.
I'm going to play a clip from another case of a woman who had ended up having sex with two men, and she obviously accused them of rape, and they were acquitted. But I want you to watch the footage.
My people, look, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Like, this is another, like, how do I put it? Like, there's real victims out here. People that are watching this are actually real victims. So when you see things like this, it's mad triggering as well. But anyway, cool.
That clip was 42 seconds. 42. And I want you to just try and think, in that 42-second clip, could you conclude whether you believed she was drunk or not?
Well, are we going from drunk? Remember, she said that obviously she blacked out and she woke up. So everything that she was doing now, she didn't know. Do you know what I mean? She didn't know everything that's not her. Boom, 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 boom. So, okay.
Now, I want to remind you that I had 30 minutes worth of footage. I think one of the things that was a lot to process was realizing that the suspect had told me the truth about how drunk I was. I also had to watch footage of a ring door camera that was captured the next morning from the mother's residence, and you could hear me clearly crying. You could hear you could hear it. So yeah, it was just so sad seeing that. It was just so sad.
In the ring door footage, you can hear her clearly crying. Remember? Yeah? Cool.
I can't put into words how I felt. I can't put into words how I felt sitting there with two police officers just watching me. So everything I've described was within like the first hour of me getting there. So you can imagine, like, my emotions are already going through it. I've been taken from 2026 back to 2020.
So within the first hour, what did she say? She arrived there at 8 p.m. So within the first hour, all of this madness has happened. Okay, cool.
And when you've already experienced so much memory loss, and then you're watching the footage filling the gaps for you, I can't tell you how that feels. Yeah. And straight after that, I was told that the defense had asked if I had applied for compensation. But the way the police officer said it to me, she used the official term. So she was like, oh, they asked if you applied for such and such. And I was like, oh, what's that? And she starts explaining it to me. Now, I didn't know compensation can be given to you if you've experienced a crime. I thought it's only if, like, you've hurt yourself at work and the company have to pay you out. I didn't know the government award people. It's like a sorry this happened to you. And so when I was told, I was like, rah, like, thank God for my integrity, because it would have been lovely to be a fly on the wall and watch them being told, no, she didn't apply for money. You know, so I'm like, oh, okay, the battlefield is fierce. There was more evidence. I've just given you the CCTV and the ring door camera footage, but the rest of it was in the cross-examination. The prosecution are the ones who started the cross-examination, and prosecution obviously is on my side. And we go through some of the footage that I told you about on the CCTV. And he first asks me what my relationship is with the suspect. He asked me what my relationship is with the girl that was with the suspect. And, you know, remember I told you there was a point I was like waving and he asked me like, you know, if I knew the person, things like that. And then he said, there's a point you were gesturing for, you know, what was that kind of thing? And I knew what he was doing. I knew that was his way of saying, the jury need to know that SG25 for such was not where she lives. I knew from the beginning he was trying to make the jury know that I gave the wrong postcode. That alone should tell you that if I can give the wrong postcode, giving consent shouldn't be trusted, because I don't even know my own postcode right now. You know, so he was starting off with that. So I was very much saying that was my old postcode. This was the postcode that I had at the time. All of this is all factual information, you know, so I kind of felt a bit like, okay, cool. We've gotten some ground laid down. Yeah. And then the defense lawyer goes up. Woo! Now, if I mimic her, I'm not mocking her.
Obviously, just so we know, obviously, safe to say she's out of this world. She was so drunk, she didn't, she was just mad drunk. She couldn't even give her a postcode. She was out of it. She was, what did they say? She got like ushered or something. She got thingied to the cab, 2 men or something.
It's actually just for you to understand the way I was spoken to, because wow, I was blown away, and I was left broken. That's the truth. Without you knowing her identity, of course, I think what was very painful was it was a black woman. The defense got himself a black female lawyer to defend him. And the police officer who was second in charge said it's something she sees a lot, that rapists get a female defense lawyer to go against the victim. So,
mate,
it started off again as very simple questions: my age, you know, my reasons for going out, those kind of things, you know. She talked about the fact that I'm a confident girl, the fact that I'm a dancer. She even said, "You're even part of a show." I said, "Yeah, a debate show." Now, remember I told you guys I woke up next to a man I don't know. I told you guys that there was a whole group of us that said hi, so the suspect was within that group. Because he was in the mix of that quick hello, it starts to look like I'm lying about the fact that I don't know him, because I remembered the material that he wore. When I woke up in the morning after the incident, I didn't look at him and think, oh yeah, you're the guy from yeah. I'm not thinking, oh, you're the guy at the bar that I was. No, I'm just like, who are you? Where am I? What am I doing here? But obviously, by the time I've reported to the police, from reporting to the police, hearing from the ladies that were there that night, hearing from some of the people that were, you know, helping me understand what was going on. So by the time I'm in the police station and I'm saying the material they're wearing, it then can make me look like I remembered the guy. And if I remembered the guy, then maybe he was a significant part of my night.
Safe to say that she's saying that she don't know my man. She don't remember him. She don't know him. Remembers the material. They're trying to make it seem like she knows him. We catch the drift.
Oh my God. I said to them, I did not know this man's first name until I got the letter for the charges. I don't know what he does for a living. I don't know him. It was the quickest hello, and I was on the dance floor.
He was the quickest hello, and I was on the dance floor. Okay.
Anyone that goes out with Loyce knows Loyce loves being in the middle of the dance floor. The purpose of me being there was for my friend's birthday. So, do I know this man? No, I don't know. I woke up next to a man I don't know. Don't tell me that just because there was a quick generic hi and that I remembered the material he was wearing, that means that I know him. So obviously the jury won't know the timelines in terms of why during my interview I could mention the material. They didn't realize that it's because by then I'd known the identity of the person, you know? So she's using the material thing to be like, so why did you remember the material then? And I was just like, so I just remembered it, like, you know, and she was like, I suggest that you ran your finger down his chest. And I was like, no, actually I can see material and just remember it just from looking at it. You know, I said, I don't need to do all of that. I don't need to put my hands down a man's chest because I'm a pretty girl. And she went, are you? I was like, yeah, I am. I am.
I was told by the police that footage inside the club was a minefield. Okay, in court, there is a gap. Okay. This one, is this it? I don't know if this is the next segment. 1 second. I think this is it.
I was just like, that man's not even my type. Like,
Okay.
it's not. And then she was just like, well, you know how it is when you've had a bit of drinks. You know, you might start to find someone attractive. I said, oh, so you can admit that I was drunk then? And she went, well, not drunk, but it's more so maybe just, you know, how much alcohol you had kind of thing by then. I was thinking, bro, this man ain't my type. Oh, stop. This is not funny, man. Oh, I'm just upset. I'm like, oh. What we ended up then talking about is when I was getting taken home to when we ended up being intimate. And remember, I don't remember anything. So many suggestions were being made. I was being told things like, you know, I suggest that when you got into the cab that you said, I want to fuck you. And, you know, you're just like, bro, like, we're now going into territory that I can't even begin to explain. So now at this point, all I can say is, I don't remember. I don't remember, but it's not something I would do in my right mind. You know, that's the only argument I can have. Like saying he's not my type, he's not someone I'd go home with. I had work the next day. Do you know what I mean? Like there was no reason for me to need to stay anywhere. But these are the kind of suggestions I was being told. I was also being told that apparently we got out the cab and you know, he wanted me to get home, but I said no, I want to stay with you. I would like to stay with you. And I was just thinking, like again, it's the pain of knowing that I felt that he had completely lied. It was the pain of also feeling like you've completely blamed me. You've not even tried to make it out like you were on me in any way. You've blamed me completely. That it's me that's done this and that's done that.
There was footage played of the ring doorbell camera from the mother's residence showing the suspect and I entering.
Now, another difficult moment was the defense lawyer said that the mother came downstairs in the morning, like basically 4 a.m, when we got back from this outing, that and asked how the party was. And I was thinking, bro, what African mother is coming downstairs at 4 a.m. to say, so how is the party? You know, but the jury were all white. From what I remember seeing, they were all white. So again, now I'm thinking, oh, they're not going to know an African mum ain't coming downstairs. So all I can do is just say, no, that did not happen. I did not meet the mother until the morning and she heard me in distress. So the pain of knowing the mother probably lied, all of that, it was just like, oh my gosh.
When I got to the intercourse, nothing.
It was the cowgirl position that was the start. You were in a dominant position, meaning that you wanted it. I can't put into words how I felt hearing that. And I know I'm not crying right now, but it's just because I've cried so much. And then you went on all fours and started giving him. The most painful thing about hearing that was the fact that I purposefully do not go on all fours because it feels degrading. I felt humiliated. My body is my temple. I love my body. And hearing that was like, raw. You used your power to the most that you could. That was painful. And I remember I was like, I can't. Like, I was like, pause. Literally, I was like, pause. I was like, I need us to pause this whole thing. I was like,
She said pause. This is correct. She said pause, but it was a bit. It wasn't a pause when this was saying this. Just saying that out there. Like I said, if we want to get to the nitty gritty, we can come with every single court transcripts or whatever you want, voice, so you look can know for yourself.
I went to the judge. I was like, I am so angry that I feel like I could generate electricity. I could light a city for a month. And he was just like, do you know what? It's okay. Like, let's pause. Let's, pause for a bit. Go outside. I go outside. The lady from Rape Crisis who came to support me, she was just like, oh my gosh. Like, she was like, that was brutal. Even the police, they were like, oh, she was harsh on you. She was harsh. And I was just like, yo! Like, I'm just like, oh, like, and like I could see some of his people looking at me in the lobby, so I'm like, why are they looking at me? Like, I'm angry. Oh,
I need to stop. Continue tomorrow. My people, this is a segment, part 2, but we got to get into this, man. It's very important that we get into this, man. I've highlighted so much things, so we'll be bringing up all these things, but let's get into it.
Before I continue with the cross-examination, I just wanted to update you guys and let you know that I'm okay. I'm okay. See, my personal people, they know how to look after me. And yesterday's upload was definitely difficult, but my people made sure that I'm okay. I'm not bothered about trolls, people bringing up my past, people saying she wanted it. I'm not bothered by those people, because there's something that happens to you when you go for a certain level of pain. There's just something that happens to you. So trust me when I say I'm okay. I need you guys to watch this and not have fear. The point is not to scare you. The point is for you to know how powerful you actually are and how much you can actually withstand. I'm not saying every single woman needs to come online and share their story. No. But be brave enough to report, yes. So, let's get into the rest of this. So, I left it off where I could not handle being in that room anymore. And if you saw me leading up to that moment where I said pause, I was rocking back and forth on the stand like a mad woman. I was like, I can't remember. That's literally how I was. Like, and then talking, I'm like, I'm just uncomfortable. That's how I was. So by the time I'm like, pause, like, it was like, there was obviously more said. Like, you grabbed his face and you kissed and, everything was literally to blame me. It was, the way it sounded at the end of that encounter in terms of talking about.
It was more said, so you grabbed his face and kissed him. Everything was to blame her.
A sexual encounter, it was as though I was the predator. I was the one that was a lion seeking to devour this man. Oh, after that really uncomfortable moment, we then went into the morning after. And I told you guys previously that I'd asked the suspect certain questions around the intimacy, and I was hearing answers that I didn't like. Now, the suspect's defense asked me, why did you ask him if he finished in you? Because according to records, you have the coil in. And I had to uncomfortably tell the court that my flower, obviously I used the official term, I said I have a very sensitive flower. Men's semen can change the pH balance down there, and it can cause me to get BV. It's so sensitive that even if I change my laundry detergent and my body's not ready for it, that can change my pH balance and give me BV. So I have medications, I have things that I use to help me prevent from getting BV. So that is to prove that I was not prepared for the sexual encounter, because I had records of getting BV a few days later. Why would I go out and want to give myself BV? I will admit and say she didn't really argue against that. She left that point there. And I think it's because what can you say to that? Do you know what I mean? So we went on to, me leaving the house and getting to the letting agent. And the main argument that she was pushing, or that I felt she was pushing, was this idea that the suspect gave me aftercare. And she used the fact that he got me a cab to basically say, like, you weren't just abandoned, you weren't just left, like he did get you a cab, he woke up the next morning kind of thing. And all I was thinking was, bro, like, I know what aftercare is. Waking up in a house that you don't know and a man calls you a cab because you haven't got your phone, you've got nothing on your person, is not aftercare.
Well, aftercare. We'll touch up on the aftercare stuff.
It's just not. So that was a little bit difficult, but we got past it. I remember I told you guys, I walked into the letting agent and they straight away said, what's happened to you? Yeah? Remember I told you guys I didn't know what I even looked like. Now you have context of knowing Lois was out in the rain, Lois was looking a mess, my wig was lifted. So by the time I walked in, they're like, hey, like you can tell that's what they're, I don't know what's happened to me. The guys moved a certain way. These are the first people I've come into contact with, apart from the Uber driver, of course, who took me there. And in the courts, they played the phone call from the letting agent. And in that phone call, you could hear me in the back. And I'm saying, it's okay, it's fine. He was kind, he was respectful, it's okay. But the call continued anyway. The lady was like, nope, it was a strange man. She continued the call. I had a moment where I was absolutely terrified of possibly reporting someone of a crime that they may have not committed. The context is, from the moment I woke up to get into the letting agent, I had not really spoken to anyone. Now, I told you guys, at the house now, the girl that was my friend managed to call her phone. If we had that moment, where were you? If I had that in the cab, for example, on my way to the letting agent, by the time I get there, I'm confident. Yep, something happened to the both of us. But I don't even know what has happened. So I'm trying to figure out who the bad guy is. I'm trying to figure... My gut was saying he did something dodgy, but I had no real confirmation. And the phone call was made for me, so I had a moment where I backtracked. Lois backtracked. I was terrified that I was potentially sending or going to send someone to jail for something they didn't do. I was scared of being a liar. So I had a moment of backtracking. But by the time I got home and I was able to speak to that girl who had my phone, and I was able to speak to my friend, that was confirmation. But of course the defense had that. They had that, it's okay. To say that, girl, he was respectful to you. He gave you aftercare. You did all of this because you missed a day at work. That was the whole argument. You did all of this because you missed a day at work. I remember thinking, do they think this is my first time missing work? Like, what? I have a child. I can make up something about her. I could even say I have diarrhea. I'd rather say I have diarrhea coming out of my mouth than make up a whole grape story for missing work. No. We talked about drugs. She asked me if I do drugs. I had to be honest and say, nah, I don't do drugs. But, I've gardened every here and there. You guys should know what I mean by garden. Not a big deal in my life like that. So why was such and such units? I can't remember the measurements, okay? So why was cocaine found in your system? Sorry, what? I told you guys some of the evidence is not presented until you're in court. And the reason why they do that is to get your authentic reaction. I literally was like, what? There was cocaine in my body? You're like, I was literally like, I didn't even know what to do with myself. I said, there was cocaine. Because part of it is me thinking, that's relief. Like, they found something, like, that was in my blood. I don't do drugs. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't, like... I literally was like, I can't tell you guys that I don't do drugs. I'm a mum. I'm a teacher. Like I'm a normal person. I might have sat with a friend in the garden once or something, but I'm not a I'm not a drug dealer. I don't do drugs. My God.
Obviously, cocaine, drugs, weed, whatever. Cool. We'll talk about that.
When it came to the defense going on the stand, I was not there to watch his trial, his cross-examination, sorry. I did hear that my lawyer did well. Apparently my lawyer caught him out a few times. I had heard that he had tried to act as though he had not seen how wasted I got. Imagine. So I think it was a good idea that the police told me not to go, because they were like, think about how hard your cross-examination was. You're gonna then watch him being cross-examined and you're gonna watch him blame you for everything, and it's gonna get to you. So they were like, you probably shouldn't come. So I was like, cool. So I have no idea of like the line of questioning, what he answered, what he said. And it's probably better that I don't know, but he obviously managed to appeal to the jury, so it worked in his favor. The evidence that I had altogether was CCTV footage of me belligerently drunk. The security guard gave witness and said that girl was way too drunk to give consent to everything. I had witness statements from the Uber driver the next morning who said that girl was in distress. I had witness statements from like the letting agent, you know, all those kind of things. I have the BV diagnosis.
So she has all these things. She has all these things.
That I had a few days later. Cocaine was found in my body. Despite all of that evidence, the conclusion was that because there were gaps in my memory, it made my account untrustworthy. Because there were gaps in my memory, it made my account untrustworthy. But the gaps in my memory are because I was heavily intoxicated. So when the police are telling me the conclusion, we're going back and forth. So I'm going back, the gaps in my memory are because I was intoxicated. And they were like, yes, I know. But because you were intoxicated, it created gaps in your memory. So then it means that you don't really have an account. So it makes you untrustworthy. And I said, but you have CCTV footage to show why I would have gaps in my memory and why my account can't be trusted. You have CCTV evidence of me saying SC25 for such and such to show why my account wouldn't be trustworthy. And the police said, I know exactly what you're saying. But
She got CCTV evidence saying SC25. Okay.
This is the loophole, is that you technically don't have an account. We don't believe you, Loyce. We don't believe you. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the other CCTV footage that I showed you of the other lady. 2 men had sex with her for 6 hours, back to back. Taking turns. You saw how she was. They were acquitted. The conclusion they came to was that there were gaps in her memory, making her account untrustworthy. And so they got not guilty. There is a system that we're part of that needs to get torn down. And I want to tear down this stronghold. I don't even care about my case being looked at again. I don't care. Let that not guilty verdict fuel me. But I must do this properly. So, chapter 3, we return. We're going to talk about the aftermath. Definitely be ready for that one, because it's going to be another one that's going to have your stomachs turn.
But hold on, Loyce, wasn't your friend a witness for you?
Now, a lot of you have asked, what about the friend? What about my friend? What about my friend whose birthday it was? I am sad to say that the police told me after the trial that she had retracted her statement. And I didn't know. When we spoke, It was very much like, I'm waiting to find out if I'll be summoned. I don't really want to come to court, you know, that's fine. You didn't tell me you retracted your statement though. And, you know, the temptation to be angry at her is very real. And I was angry for a long time. But because I know how fearful women are, I'm forgiving her without giving her access to me again. That's what I'm doing. The police said to me, this happens a lot. People pull out their statements. They were like, with this particular type of crime, women pull out their statements. Witnesses who were there, they pull out that. There's just something about this. So I had a lot of conversations with the police, as you can tell. I had a lot of conversations, so I got to hear certain trends that are going on with this crime. And we're going to talk about it. So don't bother writing any hate comments towards my friend whose birthday it was. It hurt. I've never known abandonment like
Her friend whose birthday it was.
Now, like with this case. But the amount of love that I was shown by the people around me kept me going. And that's what matters. And now you guys stepping in and showing even more love, the healing is real. So I will be okay. I will be okay. When I woke up to get into the letting agent, I had not really spoken to anyone. Now, I told you guys, at the house now, the girl that was my friend managed to call her phone. If we had that moment,
Oh, we saw this bit. All right, cool. That's Loyces' versions of events. Oscar performance. Amazing. Amazing. But anyway, look, a lot of you lot, was it Ashley? Cat. A lot of you lot, I don't know if you've seen her friend whose birthday it was, obviously tell her version of events. Let's play it. We'll get into this. I know a lot of the women don't kind of take to her, don't believe what she's saying, but let's listen to what she has to say.
So you come on the internet and you say that you're, advocating for women that have experienced some sort of sexual assault or sexual abuse, whatever, wording you used. But then under the same breath, you are wishing that that thing you claimed happened to you happens to me. Okay. Nobody else in that entire situation knew the facts apart from you and the person that was accused and then acquitted. Okay.
So what she's saying is, obviously, you've supposed to have gone through a madness, and obviously, because, well, I presume that she don't believe her, that's why she didn't go to court or whatnot. Or what is she saying? Now you're saying that whatever happened, the madness that happened to her, you wish it happened to, you're putting that on. So you're meant to be advocating for actual real victims, but because of someone didn't want to go to court, because allegedly, we're going to get into it, what happened to you was even worse. You're saying it should have happened to you again. But anyway, cool.
So I need to understand, which one is it? Are you for women empowerment? Are you here to protect women? Or you're just upset at the fact that when we went out that night, you lost control, right? You lost control of your emotions. You lost control of your entire situation. And then, you couldn't really control anything at that time. And now you're trying to regain some sort of control in your life by coming online and controlling the narrative through lies. We need to understand which one we're dealing with so we can address it properly and accordingly. So let me give you a bit of context. I did something about 2 years ago now. I can't believe that I'm still talking about this in 2026. And we're literally halfway through the year. And I'm having to relive this because somebody has decided that they just won't let it go. And I cannot speak on somebody's healing process. I cannot speak on how long it takes for somebody to let something go. I'm not an expert when it comes to that, but what I can speak on is myself, my experience and what I've experienced and, my perspective of the entire situation. It's so hot. I don't even know why I sat here to give you guys this version of events, but To say upset or angry is an understatement as it relates to how I'm feeling right now. So yeah, so in 2024, I went out with a person that I was working with at the time. She had shown interest in wanting to be a friend, and at the time, because she's older than me, I saw her as like a sister, like an older sister. So I said, you know what, let me go out with her. Let's go out, have fun. So I invited her out to an event that I'd been invited to, and then the night didn't end well. Unfortunately for her, she claims that she was raped. The guy that had invited us to the event was somebody that I was getting to know at the same time. He had told me that he liked me, hence why he'd asked us to go out. And he claimed that he didn't rape her. At the time, she was very distraught. We spoke about the event. I wasn't there when the actual act took place, but she needed my support and I showed up. I would check in on her, I would call, I would message. So she claims that he raped her. So I showed up for her, I supported her. I even, went to give a statement, even though I was not at the scene of the crime, as it was being looked at the time as being. I was not there. But then everything just started to kind of turn and started to become very ugly. She started to kind of like trying to manipulate me to try and see things from her perspective, and which I already kind of like, I feel like I was already seeing her perspective. She then, tried to get in my head and trying to convince me that this grape also happened to me. The grape that happened to her happened to me, but with a different person. And at the time I was just like, no, I remember the events. I mean, I was tipsy, but I remember how I engaged with everybody at the party that I engaged with. I remember my events. I remember the version of events that I had, but she was really just trying to push for me to, she was pushing so hard for me to believe that we had been spiked, which we weren't. A test was done on her urine, and I think some blood tests as well. I'm not sure how they do the tests for spiking and stuff like that. But a test was done on her and nothing was found in her system apart from the crack cocaine and the weed that she smokes. Come to find out, I didn't even know that she had done all these drugs that night when we met up. But she was on cocaine and weed and she had smoked it. So it was just a lot, at the time it was just a lot. She didn't tell me about the test results because she wanted to keep me strung along with her lie and her version of events so that I could believe that these things had actually taken place. I didn't find out about the urine test until later on down the line when I decided, you know what, I don't feel comfortable going ahead with this. I just want to pull away. It was becoming so intense.
My people, have you clocked that when she's telling a story, there's no... Obviously, I know at the moment don't have no relevance, but she did say it was her birthday. Have you clocked that? But obviously, multiple times, Loyces is saying, yeah, we went out for a friend's birthday, my friend's birthday girl, woo, woo, woo.
Hence.
Self-daily, stop.
Part 2, let's get into it. I ain't trying to, one second, let me just get into it. There's music playing. Alright, cool.
Hello. I'm not even sure if I should say welcome because this is not really like the best way I would like to have anybody introduced to me or introduce myself to you guys. But you're here and I want to start off by saying I sincerely apologize to all the victims that are having to relive this through the people that are in the media, that are having their trauma resurface because some of the things that we're talking about can be quite triggering. I understand you, I see you, I hear you because I've been one of you. My own sexual boundaries were violated when I was a little girl. So I understand how painful that can be. I understand how that can change the trajectory of your life. I understand how that can shape you as a person and how you show up in the world. I understand because I've lived it. It's not something that I wanted to share on social media. It's not, you know, our lives are personal. Sometimes we don't want to bring things to social media for people to judge and scrutinize, but we're here. And I believe that everything in the universe happens for a reason. God creates and puts things in a way that sometimes as human beings we don't understand it entirely from the jump, but as time goes on you start to kind of put the pieces together and everything starts to kind of make sense. So I'm hoping that there's a purpose, there's a bigger reason and a bigger purpose behind all of this entire ordeal that's going to be helpful to the people that have been hurt, the people that have been violated, the people that I felt like they don't have a voice, the people that have not felt confident enough to come forward and speak their truth. So that being said, I also feel like giving you context to that part of myself will also give context to the relationship that I had with the person who is saying, you know, that they were raped. This person has come forward and said that, you know, I was the friend in question. I was the friend that supposedly, you know, left her at the party. To begin with, we had just met. When this incident happened, we had just met. We hadn't known each other for that long. But I feel like I emotionally latched onto her because I'm quite an open person. The openness comes from so having experienced the boundaries being crossed when I was a child, some people become very withdrawn, some people go into themselves, some people show up in the world and they're a bit more outward. Some people are, more quiet and become a bit more passive. And I definitely think that I became the type of person who was just open and just like open to trusting people because I wasn't really taught, or, the process of me learning how to hold my boundaries and like not be open to trusting any and everybody was violated. And so I didn't really get to learn that as a child. I didn't get to learn that lesson properly. Fast forward now, that wound was still operating in me when I met this person and they approached me and said that they wanted to be my friend. At the time, I was open to the idea. We had just filmed a show where I was attacked by the entire cast. I was violated. I was humiliated.
By the way, guys, obviously they met. There was that BKChat together. So Loyces and this Ashley Ann has met on the BKChat show, just so you all know.
I was, called out for my name. I was made to feel very small. She didn't really support me with them. She still maintained friendships with them and she, just to kind of like, maintain the politics of things. Anyways, nonetheless, she said she wanted to get to know me. So I said, oh, no worries. And then I ended up being invited to an event. Now, the video that I made yesterday, I told you guys that the person that invited me to the event was a guy who, at the time, was pursuing me. The reason why I shared that with you guys is so that you can know why we were outside, why we were at this place. But it's not to, to claim him or anything, because we were just, I was getting to know them, both of them, at the same time. So, yes. Now, we go to the party, we go to the event. It's not my birthday. We were just invited to this event, and I ended up...
Why would Loyce say it's her birthday, the birthday girl? Wee. But forget about that. It's safe to say, maybe she just got it confused, guys. Yeah, that the birthday girls, we was cheersing, boom, she bought drinks over, my girl. Cool, anyway.
Just saying, come along. It was not my birthday, but we decided we were just going to go out and have a great time, regardless. So, we're at the party now. She arrived before I did. She gave me a call and she said, hey, I'm here, where are you? And I think I was about 10 minutes away. I don't live in London, so I was driving into London at the time. I told her, listen, I'm going to call the guy and let him know that you're there. So I called him and I said, I'm going to give these guys different names. These are not their legal names, but because the situation, I guess, is a legal matter, maybe perhaps their names are not supposed to be put out there. I wouldn't know because I wasn't in the courtroom and I wasn't really given those instructions that they were given. So we're just going to call them Bobby, some of the guy who's accused, we're just going to call him Bobby, and the other guys I'm just going to attach different names to them, and as I go along. So Bobby, I called Bobby. I said, hello Bobby, my friend's outside, she's just arrived and I'll be there in about 10 minutes, can you look after her? And he said, okay, that's fine. So she got into the party and she was there. They introduced themselves to each other. I got there and she said, yeah, he's looked after me, he bought me shots and all of that stuff. And it was the same shot. So when I got there, the shots was all still on the table. So I had one as well. And then, she was really excited. She's like, I'm having such a great time. Thank you for inviting me out. I'm really excited. And I needed a time out, and I said, oh, I'm excited too. And we spoke about, the drama that was going on with the show that we had just filmed. We just had girly female conversations. There was a guy, so Bobby had a friend, and this friend is called Troy. We're going to call him Troy. And she was like, she expressed to me that she found Troy attractive. She said, I find he's so sexy. That's my type. That's the kind of guy I'll go for, And I said, oh my gosh, yeah, he's really cute. And she said, yeah, he is. And I said, so did you speak to him? And she said, yeah, we caught a vibe. I think he's feeling me. I'm feeling him. But we'll see how the night goes. So, we're drinking. I bought shots for us. The night started heating up, more people are coming into the venue. She knows a few people, so she's interacting with everybody. We started to dance, we're loosening up a little bit. We go on the dance floor now. The boys had just kind of gone off and started to do their own thing. And me and her just, we're enjoying ourselves, we're having a great time. Then she comes over to me at one point. We was just having a good time together. And she was, walking around and interacting with other people and then coming back to me. And so she said to me, actually, I'm having such a great time. I could fuck tonight. And this is a female conversation amongst people that are still getting to know each other. And I guess she felt comfortable to share that part of herself with me. I don't judge, I think females should be able to do whatever they want to do without being judged or shamed. And so I said, sure. Listen, if you're feeling nice, you're feeling it, do your thing. The night escalated now. It's getting more heated. We're having more guys approaching us and speaking to us, but we're sort of just, brushing them off and just doing our own thing, brushing them off. And then I think maybe just an hour before the night ended, or maybe 2 hours before the night ended, she comes over to me and she says, I'm going to go and do my own thing. Do you mind? I'm just going to go over and do my own thing. And I said, oh, yeah, sure. So she goes off and she started to do her own thing. I was kind of just stood by the tables. There was a guy that I know that's in the music industry, and we bumped into each other. So I started to have a conversation with him. And then she came back over. She said, yeah, babe, I'm having such a great time. Are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. She went back. At the time, I could see her where I was standing. I could see her, but I was interacting with this person. So Bobby has another friend. We're going to call him... Coming up with names is so difficult. We're going to call him, I don't know, Luke. So Luke fancied me. I thought he was attractive as well. So Luke comes over to me and, he starts talking to me. He pulls me onto the dance floor. We start dancing. We're dancing, we're having a great time. He pulls me over to his table. So I grab my stuff, I grab her things as well because she was still on the dance floor. And then I went up to her and I said, hey, we've been pulled over to the table, so I'm going to grab your stuff. I'm going to be at that table. And she was like, okay, cool, that's fine. And so I spent my time at the table. There were other people at the table, so I started interacting with them. There were other females there at the table as well, so I started speaking to those females. Luke came back, and Luke said he wanted to take me outside. And so before I left and went outside, I went and I told her, and I said, we're going to go outside. Are you going to be okay? She said she was going to be fine. She was having a great time. She had met, I think, another female that she knew there that had been an ex-friend of hers. And so I went outside with Luke. Luke wanted to get you know, close and personal. I said no to him. He tried it again. At this point, I'm really tipsy, by the way. It was a great night. It really was. Then I started to throw up. So I started to throw up, and, you know, I'm throwing up all over his car. He then says to me, you know, oh, you're throwing up all over my car. And then he said, I'm going to grab you some water. So he grabbed me water, and I had water. I sipped the water. And then I got up. You know, when you're like tipsy, you're still aware of kind of like what's going on, but you're just loosey a bit, you know. Like, I said to him, I'm ready to go. You know, after I threw up, I said to him, I'm ready to go. I would like to go home. Can you go back inside and grab my friend and my stuff? I'm ready to go home. He goes into the club, comes back into the car. I don't see my friend with him, and he's got half of my things with him. So I said to him, where is she? And where are the rest of my things? He then said to me, oh, your friend's in there, but she's having such a great time. I couldn't really like contain her to bring her outside. She was just, you know, vibing with everybody and just kind of, you know, doing her thing and kind of like just connecting with everybody in the place. I'm like really like still like this is how I literally was in the car. He comes into, as I'm, you know, getting up and I'm getting myself together so I could go back inside, his friends all rushed to the car. There was a female friend that was part of the gang. Let me not say gang, that's not a nice word. Part of the group. And, you know, they all came and she was screaming, she was shouting. There was a fight that had just happened. They were trying to cool her down, so they put her in the car. So as I'm getting ready to get myself and step out of the car, they say, Ashley, put your foot back in, We're going. So, you know, when you're drunk, you're moving a little bit slower. So, you know, I'm about to, you know, step out of the car. They shut the door, they closed the door, and then they drove off, because the reason why they were moving so frantically is because the police were coming. The police had been called to the scene because there was a fight, right? So we drove to this person, Luke's apartment. There was an after party that they had pre-planned. I wasn't part of the plan, but because of how everything just kind of happened that night, I ended up being there. So I'm in the car, you know, as we're driving to the place. I'm like, I need to call my friend. Let me get in my bag and call my friend. So I go into my bag now. My phone's missing. Half of my other things are missing in the bag.
Just pay attention to this key moment. Phone missing. Sorry guys, this is a long segment, but it needs to be done because this is absolutely madness.
So I don't have anything to like call her on, because this is a new friendship. I don't really know her that much, so I wouldn't even know another way to get a hold of her. Like, I don't even have her number memorized. So I'm like, yeah, I need to call my friend. They're like, okay, don't worry, when we get there, we'll give you a phone and then you can try call your phone. So when we got to the apartment, Luke then gave me his phone, and then I called my phone, and when I called my phone, she picked up. I didn't even think that she'd be the person to pick up, but she's the one who picked up. So she answered the phone and she's like, babe, where are you?
By the way, this is Loyces, yeah, who picks up. Remember, Loyces said that she did speak to her friend to the next morning. Just hold on, just let me land. Obviously, everything that we say this is backed as a fact, like cool log facts, yeah?
I'm like, I don't even know where I am. Where am I? And then they tell me where I am. I'm like, I'm at Luke's place. You know, there's like a bunch of us here. There's an after party. Where are you? She says, I'm here with Bobby. I relax, you know, because I've just introduced her to Bobby. I've met Bobby a few times. I know she's with somebody that I know. And also she's just met and she's felt comfortable with and got on that night. So I'm like, okay, fine. You guys need to come over here. You guys come over. And she's like, okay, that's fine. Bobby's going to get us a taxi. And then I said, okay. So I spoke to Bobby briefly and I said, we are at Luke's apartment. Are you guys going to come over? He's like, okay, that's fine. Then Luke comes over and takes the phone off me. He's like, are you speaking to a guy on my phone? I thought you were looking for your own phone. I said, yeah, I am. But, you know, Bobby's the one that's on the phone with my friend and I've asked them to come over. He said, okay, that's fine. So we sat there. I'm waiting. I'm expecting them to come because I've just told them where we are. There are other people there. So I'm not feeling nervous. I'm not feeling anxious. I don't feel unsafe. I'm not feeling anxious or feeling like my friend's unsafe because we've just spoken and she said she's coming over. and she's with somebody that I had introduced her to, that I had met and felt comfortable with, and she also felt comfortable with. Fine. So we sat there, time goes by, none of them show up. And so I'm like, can you call my phone again? And when we were calling the phone again, nobody answered. So we called the phone a few times, but nobody answered, and they never called me back or anything or texted.
This is happened during the day. But obviously, I think what Loyce saying that she blacked out. Obviously, she said that the last time she spoke to her was the next morning.
So I ended up sleeping at this Luke's place with a bunch of other people there. The following morning, well, it was in the morning, but like when we had all slept, and then it was a bit, maybe closer to the afternoon. I was supposed to be at work. She was supposed to be at work. So this entire thing was not even planned.
Ah, man. One sec. Okay, let's go on to the next segment now. This is segments, boy.
Immediately, I ask Luke to give me his phone so I can call her. So I got the phone and I called her. And I said, the moment she didn't answer the phone a few times. Then finally she answered the phone. And when she answered the phone, she said, Ashley. I said, hey, babe, are you okay? Where are you? She said, me and Bobby had sex, but I do not remember consenting. I went into shock. I said, wait, what? Are you sure? She's like, yes, I don't remember consenting. So I immediately got myself up from where I was and removed myself from the room where Luke was so I could go into the bathroom and speak to her privately. Then I said, okay, so where are you now? She's like, I'm still at Here's I Am, waiting for the cab. And I said, okay, so let's meet. Let's go and meet at the club. Let's meet at the club. So, and she said she didn't have any of her things. She said she didn't have her phone. She didn't have any of her stuff. I didn't have half of my things, and that was including like my car keys and all of these other things that I'd left at the club. So I said, let's go to the club, recollect ourselves, and then from there, we can then figure out what we want to do. Do you want to speak to the police? She said to me, no. I said, okay, let's still meet up and then we can talk about it. So then I got myself ready. Luke got me a cab to the club. So he got me a cab to the club. And when I got there, I didn't even have Luke's phone to be able to call my phone. So I was just expecting to see her there. That was the plan. I got there, she wasn't there. So I'm there just like wandering around in central London trying to figure out like, where is she? Where does she, like, I'm like, in a place of like, I'm worrying at this stage. I don't know what's going on, we were supposed to meet. So then I started to walk around asking strangers if I can use their phone. And then one person, let me use their phone. I called my phone again, but there was no answer. So I ended up then getting somebody else's phone and going on Instagram so I could contact her on Instagram and also contact Bobby on Instagram. So I contacted Bobby. Bobby then said to me, oh yeah, I got her cab, she went home. I said, she went home? Is that where she wanted to go? And he's like, yeah, she told me to book her a cab to her house. And I said, oh, okay, can you please give me the postcode? He gave me the postcode. The house was in Croydon. The postcode was in Croydon anyways. So I'm gonna have to go all the way to Croydon. I've never been to Croydon before. So, okay. I was expecting to meet her here, but she's not here. So I made my way to Croydon. I went to the address that I'd been given. And on my way there, I didn't have a phone, so I kept speaking to strangers to like use their phone to call my phone and see if she would answer. My entire journey to Croydon, she didn't answer the phone. So I'm still calling my phone, she didn't answer the phone. So then, as time's going by, from central London to Croydon, it's quite a bit of a journey. I wasn't expecting to travel that far, but anyways, I get to Croydon and I go to the address. We didn't speak throughout the journey from central London to Croydon. I then met a girl on the train who I then asked for her phone, and I said, hey, can I use your phone? And at the time I used her phone. I contacted Bobby and I said, hey, what's going on? Like, what happened between you and the friend? And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? You know, at this point, he's still like oblivious about what's going on. I said, oh, well, what's going on? Like, tell me what happened between the two of you guys. She came and stayed at yours. And he's like, well, we had sex. I'm still in this protective mode because my emotional connection is to her. So I didn't mention to him that she had said that she didn't give consent. I kept it to myself because at the time I didn't know how she wanted to deal with the situation, and she had told me that she didn't want to speak to the police. So my concern is to get to her now. I go to the address that I was given in Croydon. When I got to the address, I found it wasn't her home address, it was an estate agent's address. I couldn't really get her address because they're not allowed to disclose that information. So I'm just wandering around now. I'm, wandering around the estate agent, just looking crazy. I ended up having a guy move to me. I don't even know why he moved to me because mine is I just look so crusty. I have no idea. I'm just laughing at the fact of how I looked that time. It was just so bad. So anyways, this guy ends up moving to me, and I thought to myself, oh Lord, thank you. You know, your angels are with me at the moment. And so I then said to him, hey, can you please take me to the police station? Because in my mind, the only way I was going to find out where she lives, who she, if she's okay, was to go to the police station and sort of just tell them the story. He drives me to the police station. We parked outside the police station, and I said, you know what, before I go in there, let me just call her one more time. Let me call my phone one more time. So I did, and she picked up. So as soon as she picked up, I said, oh my gosh, listen, I am in Croydon right now. Where do you live? I went to the address that you gave to Bobby, and it's not your home address. And she said, no, that's not my home address. I said, okay, give me your home address. I'm going to come to you. He drove me all the way to her house, and when I got there, bear in mind, on the phone, she hadn't explained to me what was going on. She just said, this is my address. So I got there, and she came outside, and she, her eyes were red. And immediately I just, hopped out the car and I gave her a hug, and I said, oh my goodness, like, what's going on? What is going on? What have you decided to do? She said, the police are inside and they're speaking to me about the situation. They've come to do a test. I said, the police are here? So you've decided you want to go to the police and tell the police? And she said, yes. And I said, okay, do what you have to do. I'm going to support you. Do what you have to do. Feel like this has happened to you. Do what you have to do. I'm going to support you. No doubt in my mind. Right now, I cannot be with you in this moment because I have to go back home. But call me and I'm going to stay on the phone with you if you need me to stay on the phone with you. I told you guys I didn't live in London. I had parked my car somewhere, I don't even know where. Yeah, everything was just a mess for everybody. So I left and I went back to central London, grabbed my car and then drove for about 3 hours back to my home. Now I'm back home, I've settled in. Bobby calls me, Ashley, why didn't you tell me that she's going around saying I raped her? Rape? Do you know rape is a serious charge? I said, she told me like that you guys had a sexual interaction, but when I spoke to her, she was not ready to go to the police. But if that's what she wants to do, then I don't know what to say because I wasn't there. She's saying that that's what you did. You're saying that's not what you've done. I don't know, right? He then comes off the phone. I have no idea where he is emotionally. I have no idea. I'm in the middle right now. I've got this person who's just been accused of rape, panicking and screaming. I have this person saying that she's been raped. And I'm right in the middle, and I felt guilty. I'd introduced these people together to each other. I had introduced her to him to her. And I was right in the middle, and I can be honest, I didn't know how to handle the situation to begin with. I had no idea how to handle this because I don't have the facts. I only have the facts of our encounter at the club leading up to everybody kind of going their separate ways. That's all I could speak on. That's all I could talk on, right? So I then kind of just like pulled back a bit, and both of them were in my ear. She then started to come to me with her cousin, And she said, you know, we've spoken to other females. They've said that they've been spiked. They felt different. They felt funny. It wasn't just me. Even my ex-friend that I met said that she felt funny. She felt different. But she ended up going home with a guy that I liked or something along those lines. Then she asked me how I felt, and I said I felt fine. I've never been spiked before, so I wouldn't even know what spiking feels like. But I remember everything. I remember going to the club. I remember us drinking. I remember the conversations I had. I remember the people I had conversations with. I remember the energy I had about me. I remember the energy that she had about her. I remember the energy that the people that came around us had. So that's what I remember. I don't remember not remembering anything. That's what I said to her. And she was like, yeah, but you know, you went to this house. Do you remember where you were? And I said, well, no, I don't know where we went because I don't really know London like that. And also, I just was not paying attention. I was in the backseat going in and out of sleep. But I don't know the location. And she's like, yeah, you see, that's the P. Diddy stuff. And I said, so she's like, tell me about the place, the home. And I explained to her that it seemed like they had pre-planned this after party amongst themselves. And I just happened to be the plus one that wasn't supposed to be there, you know. But I was in this house, the apartment. There was his friends, female friends, male friends, and even including his girlfriend. So I wasn't supposed to even be there, if that makes sense. They had pre-planned their after party. She said she had spoken to the police, that had done some...
Bear in mind, obviously, Loyces said allegedly that whatever happened to her, even worse. So obviously she's just stating that, well, this is where she ended up, and she's with everyone that was there, girlfriends, men, whatnot.
Swab tests to kind of test her for any drugs, any rape drugs. And I said, okay, like, I'm going to support you. I'm going to stand with you. Then she said, I'm going to tell the police that you were there. Would you give a witness? And I said, of course. Like, I didn't even think twice about it. I'll give a statement on your behalf. She said, yeah, but you have to come here and do it. And I said, I don't mind, you know. I don't mind. I'm sure, like, on a day off I can come. So then the day came where I had to go and give a statement. But prior to going to give a statement, there was just a lot of chatter, you know. His team were in my ear. They were saying, do not get involved, you know. You weren't there. I mean, yeah, we all went to the party, but you weren't there when the actual act took place, so you can't really speak on it. That's fair enough. I really cannot. Only she knows the facts, and he knows the facts of what actually happened in his home, you know. Then I said, okay, you know, but I still want to support my friend. She's saying this is what happened to her. So I'm going to give the encounter of how we all went out, how we got drunk, we drank, we had a great time. So I went to the police station and I communicated that to his team, and I said I was going to give a statement, and she knew I was going to give a statement. And so I went and I gave a statement. I told them, you know, what the experience was for me, leading up to the end of the night. After that, she's in my ear and she was really angry. At one moment she'd be really angry at me, and then she would, like, you know, throw fits and just kind of like have a go at me. And I just, in those moments, I just kept telling myself I had to keep calm, because somebody was just going through something. And so there was a lot of, like, you know, trying to, like, make me, like, really make me see her side of events from her perspective. There was a lot of that from herself. I never spoke to her cousin, but she would say that her cousin was the one kind of like going around and kind of speaking to people on her behalf, trying to find out and collect all the information and evidence. She then asked me if when I was at the house, if anybody tried it with me, and I said, well, yeah, he did try it with me, but I said no to him. And she was like, you see, he's a predator, he's a this, he's a that. And I was like, well, I told him no, and he stopped. And she was like, yeah, but, you know, babes, these guys they had planned this. That's what they wanted. They kind of wanted to have us in that situation. They wanted us. This is why he took you outside. This is why he, you know, separated you from me and took you all the way to his home. So these are the things that she's saying to me happened from her version of events. But that wasn't my experience in that moment. So then it put me in a place of confusion, because now I'm thinking, well, hang on, did they actually plan this? I started to really feel like I started to feel really low. It was a lot. we had just wrapped up filming this show where I had been physically attacked, and then I go out with this person, they say that this has happened to them. There was a lot that was on me emotionally, mentally, and I got to a stage where I was just like, you know, she's speaking to me every day and trying to convince me that I had been spiked. I wasn't spiked. And then she said to me, you know,
she said that she wasn't spiked. Obviously,
I'm going to, you know, the tests are going to prove it. We were spiked, the tests are going to prove it, and you're going to realize that, you know, that I was right all along once those urine tests come and show that there was a rape drug in her body, and that means that would have happened to you as well. So a lot of it was, you know, just trying to position me in a place where she would make me feel bad and feel guilty. Like, you're walking away, you're leaving me alone. Why would you do this to me, Ashley? And I just thought to myself, I've given a statement. I don't know what else I could have done. You know, I don't know what else I could have done. At the time, it was like, it was just hell, you guys. It was hell. And like I said, I cannot speak on whether the rape took place or not when they were together in that room, because nobody else was in that room apart from her and him. But I'm going to tell you what I experienced. The verbal venom that I experienced for just not going down, I don't know, going down this path of anger with her. The hostility, it was so crazy. I'd never experienced an encounter where things just go so left so quickly. And then at the same time, it started to bring up my own trauma, things I hadn't dealt with. You know, I started to question myself, like, oh my gosh, like, so what, was I a target? Did these people see me as somebody that was just worth violating? I started to question my own worth. I started to question my own ability to, like, hold myself and carry myself in certain rooms. It hit my self-esteem and confidence so much. She wanted me to believe that we had been raped together and we had been spiked together. I did not have sex with anyone that night. So, you know, the mental games, I would like to say, the mental playing was taking place from both sides, I feel like. And his side had kind of like just quiet down and said that they were just going to leave everything to the court system to deal with. But she was still going, and there were times she would say, you know, once they get found, wake up in the morning immediately. And there were times she would say, you know, once they get found guilty, I am going to take this to the Shea Borough. I already have a connection in the Shea Borough. I've already spoken to the guy that's part of or the guy or girl, whoever she spoke to, that's in the Shea Borough, and I'm going to take this, I'm going to bring these people down. We're going to take them down. Just like the P. Diddy. She kept referring to the case like P. Diddy. At the time, the P. Diddy thing was happening within our community, and it was, you know, it was really P. Diddy's case was like overwhelming everybody. You know, society was split in half, and I'm sure it was triggering for a lot of people that have been victimized, people that have not been heard, people that have been lied on. It was a lot. So I just thought to myself, I don't think that I want to go to the courtroom with you, but I'm not going to retract my statement. And I said that to her. I said, I don't think that I'm mentally fit to go to the courtroom and stand there and be able to support you. It just feels like so much. She had a strong support system around her, people rallying around her, and I just felt so like, I cannot hold you up right now while I am down. I cannot hold you up, but I can do what I can. I can be on the phone to you when you want to vent. I can check in on you. I can message you and make sure you're okay. That's what I can do. But I don't think I'll be able to come to the courtroom with you. I'm not going to retract my statement because my statement still stands. I communicated that to the police. The police then said to me, well, you don't really have much of a choice because you've given us the statement, you're not retracting your statement. So if we want to summon you to court, we will do that. You need to bear that in mind. I said, that's fine. I'll bear that in mind. If you guys do choose that you want to summon me, then I'm okay to come to court. But right now, if I have the choice to say I do not want to be in that space because I'm not mentally fit to stand there and have you tend to... So the camera stops recording. So I said to her, yes, right now as it stands, if I'm not able to be there for you and stand with you 10 toes, then I'm choosing to just support you in the best way that I can. She said that was fine. We didn't communicate for some time. The police also mentioned to me that if the statement is strong enough for them to use as evidence, then the summon will definitely happen. So I was kind of like prepared to be called to court, to be fair, but I was also clear to everybody about my feelings and thoughts throughout the entire process. So before we had reached the stage of doing the statements and everything, she had said to me that they were they were guilty until proven innocent in her eyes. And so we just had to leave it to the courts and just see what happens. And we agreed. And then the court hearing happened and they came with a verdict and he was found not guilty. And so my first question to her was, how do you feel? How are you feeling right now? And she said she just felt, exhausted. She wasn't expecting it and she didn't know what to do. She doesn't even know what to do in terms of like how she was going to proceed and take the situation to the internet. And so I just said to her, maybe stay off the internet, because at the time I think the BKChat stuff was happening at the same time. So I said, stay off the internet, maybe take some time to yourself, regroup and just get yourself together. I'm not sure if she took my advice or not, but that was the last conversation that we had over the phone. Then the next thing, I did message her like 2 days after, hey, how are you doing? I think she responded. And then after that, we didn't speak. I carried on just kind of doing my own thing. The next thing I know, she messages me. We were still following each other on social media. And she messages me and she's like, Ashley, you retracted your statement. The police told me. How could you do that to me? Why do you hate me so much? Wait, what? I think that was the first statement that she said. And then I sent her a voice note and I said, call me. I was still calm and I said, call me. I don't know what's going on right now with you. I told you that I wasn't going to be there at the hearing, but I didn't retract my statement. So you need to call me when you want to speak, if you want to speak over the phone. She called me. And when we spoke on the phone, she was like, oh no, it was a false alarm. The police didn't say that. They told me that, yeah, you weren't going to come to court, and I already knew that. False alarm, the police didn't say that. Then she comes to me, I think maybe like 2 weeks later. We didn't speak. Then 2 weeks later, she just bombards me with this message and she says, Ashley, why would you do that to me? Why do you hate me so much? Whatever did I do to you? They told me that you retracted your statement. And I lost it. I think at that point I had just had enough. I had had enough of the mental abuse, of the psychological BS. It was just to the point where I just said, you need to fuck off my phone, love. Like, I'm so serious. And right now, as I'm speaking about it, I'm feeling really quite angry. I'm not here to victim blame, but I'm also not here for somebody abusing and mentally trying to constrain somebody because they're in a place of hurt. That saying that hurt people hurt people. I didn't deserve her abuse. I didn't deserve any of that. I had been there, been kind to her, showed her warmth as much as I could for somebody that I really didn't know that much. And then, she's just...
By the way, guys, sorry, I'm literally making my thumbnails now. When you lot see thumbnails, it's me that makes most of them or sends it to my team. This is literally over 2 hours. I'm locked in just on my phone. That's
just like throwing a fit, and I threw a fit back, and I just told her she needs to fuck off. And I think she then, I'm not sure if she read the message, but then she went off and blocked, and I didn't even care at that point because we could not find a way outside this darkness that she had just accumulated. And the thing is, when somebody's going through something, when they have people that love them, to me, how I identify people that really love and care for me is through how they deal with my situation. Do they try to pull me out of it? Or do they try to just encourage that? So you stay in that darkness, you stay blinded to the truth, you stay just locked in a fog. That's how I know if somebody loves me. When somebody loves you, when they see you going through a place, going through hurt, first of all, they acknowledge the pain that you're going through. They see it. And then from there, they ask you, how do we take you from this place? How do we take you from here to there? Now, granted, she was hurt. She didn't get the verdict that she wanted. She had a plan on how she was going to approach the entire situation. So she wanted to rattle me. She wanted to push her anger towards somebody. You know, that's what some people do when they're carrying a lot of like anger. They just want to like throw it onto somebody else to carry because it's too much for them. And I just had enough. I just had enough. And doing this video, I still have had enough. For her to go and do it on the internet, it's just spewing, and everybody's saying, she went on the internet and said she's advocating for women. Well, I'm not entirely sure if that's true. The way that you've gone about it, granted, she didn't mention my name. She went and told the story, kept my name out of it, fine. I was fine with that. I don't really care. You know, she's told her version of events, whatever. You want to go in there and release your pain how you want to release it, do that. But then she is now encouraging her followers to come and throw abuse at me. And she's praying, she's quote unquote quoting Bible scriptures. And then under the same breath, she's then saying, I pray that something like that happens to you. And I pray that you never find peace. Well, which one is it? Are you a woman of God? Or you are somebody that just wants to tear other people down because you feel like the system let you down? Well, I'm not the system. I'm not the system. The system has let so many people down. The people know that. We all know that. We're all in the same boat as it pertains to the system. Some of us feel like the system has not protected us ever. Some of us feel like we're constantly being attacked by the system, whether you're a man or a woman. So why are you attacking me? You're hurt. Okay, let it out. Do not go and tell your followers to come on my page and tell me I'm this, I'm that, you're not for women, you're not this. I am so for women. I advocated for women having their own independence and being able to be free thinkers and being able to do their own thing. I said to her after she came to me and attacked me, I said to her, he's been found innocent. According to your words, they are guilty until proven innocent. He's been found innocent. How do you want to handle this? If you want to go on the internet, focus on the issue at hand. Say, this is what happened to me. And don't drag people and then you want to then say, oh, this person, the entire case fell because I didn't show up to give a statement or I didn't show up to the court hearing. And then now you're wishing that I go down. You're wishing that there's no peace in my home. Guys, when people talk about the system and they say the system is rigged, the system is this, it's unfair. We need to be able to stand and look at things from a wider perspective. In the past few years, we have seen the system show us to our faces that regardless of your status, regardless of your class, regardless of your race, you will be held accountable. P. Diddy was held accountable because the evidence was strong. We saw the evidence. It was right there in our face. Epstein, Weinstein, he was held accountable. Now, I'm not saying that the evidence was not strong in her case. I was not there. I was not in the court.
We're going to go through the evidence.
So I cannot speak on that. Flipping the coin. There has been instances when the system has not protected people that have been victimized. When people have gotten away with it. That also is wrong. That also needs to be looked at. That also needs to be acknowledged. You told me, wait, the urine test is going to prove everything. The urine test didn't prove that part of the situation that you wanted to prove to me. So I still supported you. Then you said, you know what? Let's wait until the verdict. They are guilty until proven innocent. Okay, you went to court. He was proved innocent. So now where do we stand? What do you want me to do? I stayed on the phone with you. I sympathize with your pain. I said, I understand you. I'm here if you need to speak. I'm here. I even said to this girl, how about we just go out for lunch somewhere and sit down and just do some feminine stuff? Let's just sit down together and just talk. The entire thing has just been so overwhelming in a way that I don't even like. I would have never came on the internet and spoke about this had she not started to tell her fans to come over and start trying to tear me down. I was in the, busy minding my own business on my side of the internet. Dealing with my traumas and things, how I know how to deal with them. when that it's just, I'm not for it. I'm not for coming on the internet and spewing just venom. I do acknowledge people's pain, and I do think that people's pain needs to be acknowledged. I do. I've been through pain as well. I've been through hurt as well. Maybe it's just down to our belief systems and how people cope with pain. It differs. How people cope with different traumatic events, it differs. Some go out and they want to speak on it. Some people just want to step back, observe, learn, and grow. I don't believe that I need to go into the march with you. Even when the civil rights movements or the women's march rights movements and all of that stuff is happening, there's some people that want to go out and march. There's some people that want to stay in the office and, you know, find research and do research so that they can teach the next generation. Why are you trying to force me to be on the front line with you? And then you get upset at the fact that I said, you know what, that's not what I want to do. As women, we should be able to hold each other accountable. We should be able to respect each other's boundaries. We should be able to respect each other's wishes. Not get upset because somebody chose not to do what you wanted to do. And there were times.
The closing statement. I'm not gonna play that. You catch the drift. So look, let's get into this now. I gave Loyce 24 hours. Elaine DePayne rang my phone. She was about to go to the internet and cuss me out. Multiple black women, I know already. I've received multiple messages and whatnot. And everyone thought, okay, cool. I've given Loyce 24 hours based on the information on the internet or based on what Leanne has said. No, I've given Loyce 24 hours based on the facts that I know on the case, but I just wasn't going to be that person to come on the internet and be like, actually, I believe Loyce is lying. Like, I believe what Loyce is saying is just a lie, and she has done an Oscar performance. It's just me just saying it. I'm sorry that you lot may get triggered and you don't like me saying it, but she came on the internet, told you lot a great performance. So I said, you know what, Elaine, please meet the relevant people and see the facts for yourself. So Elaine has spoken about 10% of it, and this is what she has to say. Let's get into this.
I am absolutely fuming about this Loyce situation, but I am going to give my take on it, and then I'm done. My voice sounds mad because I'm sick, but I have to.
And this is why it's bad, because I actually feel sorry that Elaine has done this video because she's telling the truth, spitting the facts, and the fact that a lot of women are saying, oh, it's not too late to take this post down or whatnot. And it's like, and the fact that she's now getting like so much like backlash from actually telling the truth. But anyway, cool.
To make this video. So here we go. So by now, everybody has seen Loyce's account about what happened on that night and how she allegedly got raped and, you know, the aftermath of that, and her telling her story. We all saw her, you know, choking up, retelling bits and pieces. I even did a video on it showing her love, saying, oh, we need to give Loyce love, hugs and kisses and all of these sorts of things. And I just feel like the biggest idiot. So the claims that she made was she only had 2 drinks and a shot, I believe. So she said she really wasn't that drunk. She made the claim that she got spiked, right? And she was certain that she got spiked. She made the claim that she couldn't remember from halfway through the night to the early hours of the morning when she woke up, right? And she also made a claim that, you know, she then went to the police and followed through and reported the rape. Now, Bouncer did his video and I was so angry. I was like...
Midday was so angry. Everyone, I know. I just knew what was going to happen.
I was literally like, I'm about to eviscerate this man. Yeah. I was like, you know what? Something told me to call Bouncer. So I called Bouncer and I said, you know I'm about to fucking go in on you, right? And he was like, wait. You need to hear the other side. And I was like, okay, cool. Get the contact details of the source and I'll speak to them. So the source contacted me and told me a few details. But the details that stuck out to me the most was Loyces toxicology report, right? Which means that after the incident or when she reported it to the police, she was taken for her bloods to be drawn. When your bloods are drawn, it will tell you what's in your blood, right? Now, if Loyce is claiming that she was spiked, that she, was drunk or whatever it is, there's things that would show up in the toxicology report. So, I'm about to give you or read to you a summarized version of the toxicology report. I have seen it with my own two eyes from the source, but I have summarized.
Now, obviously, this whole toxicology report, this is what's going mad online. This is what's going mad.
It in a way that makes sense. So, it says, the toxicology report identified the presence of low concentrations of cocaine and its metabolite benzolectinine in the urine sample. The forensic scientists concluded that at the concentrations detected, Loyce would not have been experiencing significant effects at the material time. The report also detected citalopram, a prescribed antidepressant used to treat depression and panic disorder. While the report noted that alcohol and prescribed medication can interact and potentially increase the effects of intoxication, it did not conclude that the medication would cause memory loss or a complete blackout. Cannabis metabolites were also detected. However, the report indicated this was consistent with previous cannabis use and did not establish that cannabis had been consumed immediately before the incident or that it was causing impairment at the relevant time. Alcohol was also detected in the urine sample, but the forensic scientists explained that a reliable back calculation of blood alcohol concentration at the time of the alleged incident could not be performed. This was because the time of the previous urination was unknown and urine alcohol concentrations represent an average level since the last voiding rather than a person's alcohol concentration at a time at a specific point in time. Overall, the report concluded that while alcohol, prescribed medication and drugs were detected, the low concentrations of cocaine would not have produced significant effects, and the available evidence did not allow the forensic scientists to accurately determine the complaint's precise level of alcohol intoxication at the material time due to limitations in the available data. So, to summarize this, Loyce did admit that, or Loyce made the claim that he must have given her cocaine to get her, to give her more energy or in the mood. You know what? I have no words. Even in that toxicology report, there is absolutely nothing that says that she was spiked, right? And if there's low levels of medication or drugs...
The sources also told me they allegedly tested. So just want you to know, this toxicology report is the Crown prosecution's paperwork. This is from the police. Everyone can access, not everyone can access it, but if you know me or you want to reach out, it's not, they didn't get anything tested. This is the case bought bought before them, bought for my man to get a guilty. Just so you know, is it's the prosecution, it's the police's examination. Just so you know, yeah.
Or anything like that. It means that, yeah, maybe you were a bit tipsy at the time, but you weren't blackout drunk and you were not spiked. Otherwise, the drug would have came up in the toxicology report. That is what did it for me. In your claim, Loyce, you were absolutely certain that you were spiked. And this proves that that was not true. So now it calls into question every single thing that you have said. I also spoke to Loyce and I said, give me something, anything, papers, anything. She said, oh, Elaine, I don't have anything. They didn't send me anything. Huh?
I think she got papers though, because she said it in her segment. There's this statement, there's that, there's that, there's that. This is what she said, by the way. She said there's Uber. This is the stuff that she said. But anyway.
You went through a whole trial and they didn't give you anything. She said no. Now, I've heard from the source and we've all heard from Loyce. And in my honest opinion, I think it is this. Loyce lost her keys, lost her phone. The guy said, okay, cool, you can stay around mine. They did whatever they did. She came back and basically the housing manager was like, well, listen, you've lost your keys. We're not giving you replacement keys until you know what I'm saying, fork up £250. So maybe Loyce was thinking on her feet and was like, oh, you know, something happened last night because the guy gave her some shoes and whatever it is, and she's walked in all disheveled. So, you know, she's been like, oh yeah, something happened. Oh, I don't want to say this, that, and the third, you know, to try and be like, oh, something happened. Can you just give me the house keys or whatever it is? Because she couldn't afford the £250. And I feel like, you know, it was a story just to get the keys, but the management company actually called the police. It wasn't even Loyce. And I heard the 999 call to the police. It wasn't Loyce, it was the management company. So therefore, Loyce was like, oh, you know what? I have to follow through with this. This girl nearly ruined a man's life over £250 house keys. Loyce, let me tell you something, because I am hurt and I am disappointed, but I don't think you understand. You have set back women, in particular black women, who actually have stories of being raped or attacked or abused or harassed, right? And for some women, it is very difficult to recount a traumatic experience. And you, my girl, single-handedly just made it worse. What I suggest you do is come out and tell the truth and be honest and offer that boy an apology. That's the first thing you can do. Otherwise, you absolutely deserve this dragging that you are getting. Get the contact details of the source and I'll speak to them.
So obviously, that's what's said. Cool. Loyce has addressed this. She says this. I haven't listened to it. She's at me. And obviously, I've seen some. Imagine going through a horrific order and having to justify yourself to bounce or do better. Respectfully, one thing I'm not going to do as a black man, I'm just going to say it how it is have anyone come online, yeah? Like, you know, your dad, your brother, anyone come online and tell such a lie. I'm calling this out for an out and out lie. But let's listen to what Loyce says. I haven't even listened to this.
This video is in response to some videos, obviously, that I've seen recently posted about me being a liar. I want you to know that I don't have an issue with anyone, and the reason why is because I knew putting up my story, I'm going to possibly put myself in the firing line. I knew that. I've shared it's not guilty. I've shared I wasn't a perfect victim. And people are stating that from chapter 2, they started picking holes. But that means I presented the holes. That means I presented the inconsistencies. I've not been fake about the fact that my story isn't perfect. I want to clear up the part about why doesn't Loyce have paperwork? Like, why doesn't Loyce have paperwork? Those who have been to court know that when you file a criminal case, you actually become the witness.
Well, we've just said, I've just highlighted, you just said there's statements, there's paper, you've got like, you said that. But anyway, forget about that. Explain it.
It becomes the state against the suspect. So it's the king against the suspect, basically, not me. And so the police told me from before, this is technically his trial. So he gets to see all the evidence to prepare his defense. I don't get to see the evidence, prosecution does, because I just become a witness. That's what it is. So that's why I have to do special applications, if I'm even permitted to get certain levels of paperwork, because it was basically his trial. I was only allowed to see the evidence before cross-examination because defense requested it. So I could have even just gone in for cross-examination and seen the CCTV then. Do you understand? So just to clear that up, because I'm realizing I think a lot of us don't know the courts. I didn't know either. I was frustrated throughout the process because I wanted to see the evidence and I couldn't. So it's just to clarify that. The toxology report shows that there was low levels of everything in my body. So what was going on in the CCTV? Why would I be giving out the wrong postcode in the CCTV?
She keeps on saying, why was she giving out the wrong postcode in the CCTV? Anyway, cool. Listen, we're going to get into it.
If I had 2 drinks, what would get me so gone? Because my mind goes, it must have been something that works really fast and can metabolize in my body very quickly.
Well, now, because everyone's saying, look, guys, everyone's now saying GHB. Now GHB's coming up on the screen. I get it. Before, remember, everyone's saying it. Elena Payne has obviously said what she's saying now. People saying, oh, it could be GHB. Now she's mentioning GHB. Okay, I get it. Cool.
And leave no trace within a few hours. That's the only thing I could think. I also went to the letting agent. She actually confirmed to me I got there about 10. The police got there about 11. So if I've gotten to this event around 8, 8:30, 8:45 maybe, and then I'm being tested at 11, that's more than 12 hours later. So even if there was something that could last 12 hours, it would have gone by then. So the toxology report is consistent with the fact that there could have still been something in my system that would have left my system. I can't prove it though. The conversation I had with the police was, we are sorry, we couldn't prove this for you. We couldn't prove it. You understand? So I'm aware that the court documents will support the verdict that was given. I'm aware of that. If the toxology report showing nothing makes me a liar, then I feel like this is highlighting the perfect victim issue that I was talking about from the beginning. Do you get what I'm saying? I do feel like that. It's highlighting what I said from the start. There was a reason why CPS went forward. That means that they had enough evidence. I remember I saw the letter and it said, after careful consideration, with the evidence, we've decided to charge on 3 counts of rape. I also didn't say spiking. I knew that the spiking thing was hard to prove. I even said to you guys it was my...
So why are we listening to spiking then? Like, we're hearing about spiking. That's what we're hearing. Why have we listened to spiking? Like, why? It got told to us, just to let man know, it got told that this rave, oh, you got done. Like, oh, you've all been done. Oh, they all woke up in a man's house in the morning. This is what's been told, because something to do with, you get me? But now, nothing to do with spite. Okay, cool. We're going to get into it anyway.
My friend that bought the drink, so I don't know. I can't account for it. But I know that when I was given the wrong postcode, I suddenly saw myself kissing a man that was kissing someone else. In my mind, this whole thing doesn't make sense.
So she remembers being given, everything was the wrong postcode, so she remembers that. but she don't know anything else. Cool. Let me start.
And I think what's sad is that it's being made to seem like I just went out and did all of this to myself and have just decided to share this story to gain clout. Oh, just to clarify, the only post that asked for Netflix to be tagged was the one I was talking about, Channel Central. That's it. If Netflix saw that post, they would have been looking at drama. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that is not the way to chase clout. To tag the page that I love into the drama that I'm in. That's not clout. Do you know what I mean? The whole point was, guys, I need you guys to see how these guys work because they've got a show with you called Blue Therapy. That's more so where it was coming from. So,
all right, guys, they got a show called Blue Therapy. Tag Netflix. By the way, Andy and Blue Therapy and that has already got Netflix's link. So obviously Andy's already done business with Netflix. He's got their numbers, he's got their emails. But cool, no problem. We'll get to that down the line. I understand. Let's forget about that. Let's just talk about the main things.
hopefully that clears that up. So yeah, I hopefully have covered those grounds. I still remain very serious about this topic. It's not a joke to me. I know what I experienced and we'll go from there. Hey guys.
So my people, listen, let's just get straight to it. One thing I'm going to state is you see when I hear or I see injustice, like I'm sorry, but this is not a joke. It's not a joke. This is very serious here. Man sees injustice, man has to talk about it. Whether you like me, love me, don't like me, it is what it is. I'm sorry, man. We've listened to segments of a story that there's no facts behind it. I'm sorry. She's just done the maddest Oscar performance. Even when I'm looking back at it, I'm saying this is a mad Oscar performance because why is it's more disappointed? It's like you've actually, like every victim seen, like every past victim that hasn't got justice has seen this and it's like, raw, this is mad what's happened. Like she went to an event and you're basically saying that this all the drinks, bro, things like there was just predators spiking what they were spiking, and you woke up in someone's bed like the film Taken. Okay, cool. Let's get into this, man. I've got this and I've got this. So, Loyce said that she don't know the guy. She never spoke to the guy. Whatnot. Like basically, that's what she said. The alleged defendant. She said that she don't know him. She's never spoken to him. Let's go into this segment. A video of them both speaking at the start of the event. So, by the way, is the defendant's birthday. It's not her friend's birthday, which she said it was. So there's a video of them on the sofa, cozy, speaking. They was talking, and the video got captured because when it was my man's birthday, people putting up snaps. So obviously it was given as evidence in court because obviously she stated that within that hour or so she had 2 shots and she was out of this world. Well, the defendant arrived at his birthday party at, I think it was around 9, just past 9:15. Obviously, everything is logged. This is the facts of what I'm giving you. So what she's saying there, I don't know. Cool. She said that she don't know him. But anyway, there's a video of them sitting down on the couch speaking. Yeah? CCTV footage shows that the defendant was not near the complainant when she was intoxicated and with security. So remember, I want you to remember these things. She said she was outside. There was a 30-minute video of her outside. And she said that, yeah, the security and boom, 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 boom. And then there's this man and whatnot. Just understand that the person that's accused was not nowhere there during this whole time of her being outside. Yeah? CCTV of defendant leaving the venue, returning back to the venue, 40 minutes arrived back at 10 past 3. So the defendant left the venue, He left the venue, realized the man them's not going that way. He got dropped back to the venue at a certain time. Now, whilst he got dropped back to the venue, he ordered his Uber. He's ordered his Uber. Everything is logged. Everything is everything is logged. Everything is time. You can see the CCTV. Well, whilst he's ordered his Uber, he has not seen Loyce. There's no seeing Loyce yet. He's ordered his Uber. His Uber's gonna take 12 minutes to arrive. He's going back to his mum's. Just want you lot to know so you don't think that she's getting ushered into some car and whatnot. But let me just land. I'm going to go into the facts of this. Cool. CCTV on him returning when he walks around the corner, Loyce acknowledges him, and obviously she just ushers him to come over. He comes over 10 minutes after she started kissing him. He didn't start kissing her, she started kissing him. Cool. Like, she's saying she don't know what's going on, boom, 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 boom. Bear in mind, she states that he wasn't the one that gave her no drinks. There's no thingy drinks. Like, he didn't give her a drink. She stated that. Yeah? Cool. Now, she claims that she didn't speak to Ashley until the next morning. Well, the evidence is in the Uber, around the Uber that time, before the Uber that time, the evidence is that she spoke to Ashley on the phone for 3 minutes and she realized that she had Ashley's phone. She realized. Now go look back. Ashley talks about something on that night, boom, 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 realizing that she has Ashley's phone. Now, I know a lot of you lot, let me finish, because I am not finished. But I'm just giving you the events, and then I'll go into the actual more nitty-gritty. So anyway, she's spoken to Ashley. She said that she didn't speak to Ashley till the next day. Cool. She's saying that she's out of this world. Now, she says she talks about 2 men. She says she knows one, and obviously she said the suspect. Now, the man that she knows and the suspect, the man that she knows, what she didn't tell you is that she used to date the man that she knows. And the man that she knows actually knows where she lives. And the man that she knows offered to take her home. And you know what Loyce said? No, I'm going home with him. That's what Loyce said. There was nothing to do with anyone getting flipping ushered to the thing. In fact, there was CCTV showing that the suspect, say we might as well say he's the suspect, walking in to the Uber and her walking behind to get into the Uber. So how she said that and what she said, I'm sorry guys, but this is CCTV and it's backed up with everything. But let me finish, guys. We don't want to paint no fake narratives. We want to come with facts, and facts that we can show you lot, yeah? Cool. Now, Ring doorbell footage that shows the suspect, let's say the suspect knew where, no, Ring doorbell footage that shows Loyce, the complainant, knew where she was, where she had capacity to identify where she was and was answered by the defendant. Do you want to go inside? In which she said, okay. So now there is Ring doorbell footage that got picked up. Ring doorbell footage, yeah, of Loyce. She's not blackout, spiked, madness, falling down. There's footage of the suspect saying, do you want to go inside? Like, you good? Do you want to go inside? There's footage of this. Midday, whoever, reach out to me, go see this for yourself. I'm not having it. Cool. Anyone, reach out to man, we'll show it to you for yourself. Because what she's saying, there's Ring doorbell footage. And just so you know, yeah, this Ring doorbell footage was provided by the suspect's mother. The mother got the Ring doorbell footage and gave it to the police or to whoever. But this is the footage. To say this is in the footage. She's quite normal. She might have, bruv, you've had a good time. You're lit. They both of you are lit. And he said, "Do you want to go inside?" She said, "Okay, cool. Let me finish." Because one thing we're not going to do is we're not going to come on the internet and we're not going to say this and vaguely say this and this. This is the facts. This is what got played in court. This is what got shown in court. Cool. Now, obviously she said that, boom, from, I don't know, 8, 9, she took whatever she took, and then she had a blackout and she woke up in a man's bed, talk about Diddy, whatnot. There is CCTV footage at the event. The CCTV footage at the event of Loyce having an amazing time in the dance floor, having an amazing time, like throughout 7 hours. She's gone there from 8. She's left about 3. She's in there. Cool. Whatever that Ashley said that she spoke to Loyce, and Loyce said that she wants to whatever. You get me? Whatever, that night, whatever. But cool. Now, when she spoke to Ashley, let's just get this up because I want to get to these points. It's very important that we need to flush this stuff out of man's community. There's no way I'm going to sit there, have a platform, and let someone and listen to a version of Oscar performance. See, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. Then at the end, tag Netflix, like, boom, big plan. And then have man saying, when you're getting called out, people, listen, there's real victims out here. There's people that's actually, the man has been arrested in school. He got arrested in his school. But anyway, she said this is what she said to her friend. This is what she said. She said that the girl that we just watched, this young lady, yeah, she said that this is what she said here. She said her situation was worse than mine, which was sad, but she couldn't go through with reporting. I don't want to share her part on her behalf, but that's why I haven't gone into it. Just sticking to me. Bro, she's come out on the internet and said, listen, I was at an after party. We fell asleep. There's multiple people there. This is where man was. But cool. Wait. So it's like you said that, yeah, but because then she said this. This is what she said. Just read it out. I don't remember anything after my second drink. I don't get wasted like after two drinks. I believe the other drugs left my body and coke was used to wake my body up to be able to have X, which is what left because I was probably given to me towards the end of the night. So now she's saying that coke was probably given to her towards the end of the night. Yeah, cool. Towards the end of the night. When I was taken back to man's house, this is why it's impossible to report as soon as. It's sad that a man being smarter as predatory behavior is not considered in your... Look, here's my thing, guys. She's basically saying that somehow, like, she got given this thing. She was, look, this GHB, I've never heard of it. You get me? I'm not in that weird world. I don't know that weird stuff. You get me? But when listening to certain things, I don't know. You tell me how long this is meant to be in your body. Because she was out for 7 hours. And she said from this time to this time, she was totally blacked out. Now she was somehow given coke. So you can drink coke. You can't drink coke. I'll just let you know. You can't drink coke. But you was given a small amount of coke to wake you up. No, you sniff coke. That's what you do. If coke's in your body, you sniff coke and it has you in your whatever. You can't drink coke to then, just to let you lot know. But anyway, it's still go. I'm not finished. Then, I don't know what this young lady why she didn't want to go forward or whatnot. She wanted to be supported. The police said that, look, your statement is open. If we summons you to court, you have to go to court. That's it. Like, you get me? But because all of a sudden she's saying things like this is what she's saying. I'll get her up. This is what she said. I personally believe another drug was put in my drink to spite me. No, this is another sec. I'll get this up. This is what she said. When I say I couldn't believe the amount of people that knew he took advantage of me, literally convos of people saying, sorry, this happened to you, and then not support me in court, leave me to face all this alone, especially the birthday girl. It was not her birthday, guys. No one else showed up for you. I do, and you don't support me in my time of need. I hope it happens to her again, to be honest. I hope she never finds peace ever again. This is why my girl has now started flipping, coming out and started speaking. But cool, let's get into this. Let's get into this side of things now. There's CCTV showing that she kissed him. He didn't kiss her. Yes, he was kissing another girl before and put her in an Uber because he had work in the morning. He said that he had work in the morning. She didn't want to come back to his house. He put her in an Uber, just so you know. Cool. He's come back. His brethren and said, yo, flipping, I'm not going this way. Dropped him back. He's ordered his Uber before he's even seen Loyce. Uber's saying 12 minutes. He's gone around the corner. All this time, what she's talking about with the security, he don't know. He's not with her that time. CCTV proves this. Then she said there's two, the stranger and the other guy. She was dating the other guy. She dated the other guy. The other guy knew where she lived. There's X, Y, and Z. Like, just so you know. She said she was put in and kind of ushered, or however it was phrased, into the Uber. No, she walked behind my man and jumped into the Uber. Just so you're aware. To see the Ring doorbell footage, guys, and you can listen to it, audio and footage states. My man said, boom, 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 do you want to go inside? She was perfectly fine. She wasn't out of this world. She said, yes, okay, cool. Just remember that the other guy offered to take her home. She said, no, I'm going home with my man. This is on CCTV. She keeps on talking about postcodes. If you're on CCTV, you can see. You see, if you're on CCTV, the other guy, and this is the other guy, is confirming this. Like, this is what's happened. You're saying she was ushered, she was put to the car. No. CCTV showing that she walked to the Uber. She wasn't thingy. She wasn't drunk and she slunched down. She walked to the Uber. You get me? Cool. I told you, Ashley called her phone. She stated that she didn't speak to Ashley till the next day. I told you that my man's mum brought the ring door footage just to prove that she wasn't crazy out of her mind like she's telling you guys. The lie that she's telling you guys, she woke up in someone's bed. She was perfectly fine. She had a good time. She got lit. You get me? And whatever's happened, there's a one night stand that's obviously happened. Cool. Because she said that she's so drunk that she blacked out. And this is before sets. So just so you know, there was no consent. This is what she was saying. Key evidence. This is the key evidence. At 8 p.m. to 3:30 a.m. This is how long she was at the venue for. 7 hours. If you was to be affected by any of these, I don't know, date rape drugs. Remember, she got tested for 93 thingy and none of them came up in her thingy. And if she was ever going to be affected for, I don't know, GBH, do your due diligence. I don't know. They say that it's meant to last up to 2 hours. Cool. At 12:08 a.m. in the morning, Lois posts a picture on her Instagram. Yeah, she's meant to be blacked out. She gets into her phone, her password, and she posts a picture on her Instagram. Just so you know, guys, because one thing that we're not gonna do is paint a narrative. What we've just heard, that this happened, 2 drinks, blacked out in a man's bed. You posted you was that sure you knew what you was doing. You posted a picture on your Instagram. This is facts of the court, what got brought up in court. There's CCTV of her on the dance floor. Like I said, CCTV around the same night having a lovely time. So I don't know. When you're saying you're blacked out, me personally, if you're that blacked out of this world, there's no way I can just go on my Instagram and post a picture and whatnot. But cool, no problem. She said that she planned to leave the event at 10 p.m. You get me? And obviously the event finished at 2 a.m. The event finished at 2 a.m. and they ended up leaving at 3 something. So she was outside, whatever. Now, when the suspect, let's just call him the suspect, they got to her house, she said that she woke up, she was in mad distress, she was crying and whatnot was going on and boom, boom, boom. And all he done was order her a Uber and that was it. Well, no. Well, he was speaking to her and obviously she was lost to her things and she was trying to figure out what she's going to say to her estate agent or because she lost the house keys and whatnot. But while she was trying to figure out, he's a school teacher. He's ordered her Uber 3 times. On the second time, he said to her, listen, I've just missed my train. Please, like, I'll order your Uber, but let's walk down the road to the train station, which was a 10-minute walk with him to the train station. Also, he gave her trainers because one of her heels broke. Just so the stuff that you don't know, obviously it's not mentioned because it don't fit the narrative that she's trying to tell you, though. Like, it just don't. Now, whilst they got to the train station, this is all facts, logged in, everything, CCTV, everything. Whilst they got to the train station, he ordered her the Uber, went to the house, and he waited for her Uber, jumped in the Uber, she left. Because one thing that we're not gonna do is paint some crazy madness narrative to say that this. I left this house in the Uber and I went to my house. No, you walked 10 minutes down the road with his trainers on. That's what you done. You walked 10 minutes down the road and you was talking about family stuff and boom, 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 and general stuff. And you were saying that obviously you got a child and your child's with his baby, her father, like the father and whatnot. You lot were just talking. I was like, oh, you're a school teacher. Oh, do you know what I mean? You was just having general chit chat. Now, just remember, she said that she didn't know him. She didn't know him. She woke up with a random man. Woke up in a random man's bed. That's what she said. Well, like I said, I've just stated, CCTV, when he came in at 9:15 for his own birthday, and they were sitting down in the sofa and they was talking. You get me? So, but I don't know. The 2 shots, he wasn't there. So the 2 shots, somehow she's blacked out before that. So yeah, this is what they're on before he's even got to the venue. Just catch the drift. She's saying the times and whatnot. Everything is logged. He arrives at, look, to be precise, birthday boy arrives at the venue at 9:13. There's a video, a snap. At that time, that's where there was a video and snap. Whoa, where they were sitting down, them two. And that was logged in court. Sitting, speaking. Get me? Now, obviously, she's mentioned the security side of things. She's mentioned that she spoke. There was someone that had her phone, and the police. She's hearing that the police. She was saying things on loudspeaker, and the police was saying, "Yeah, oh, boom, 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 boom." Remember that? That's very vital. But no one. This is meant to be a whole big mad police investigation. This is meant to be in the case, right? It's meant to be in the case, a part of the case, or whatnot and whatnot. No one came to court. None of these things are in the case. And this is why we don't understand why she's come on the internet and said all of this. I'll be honest with you, the first video when I watched it, I thought, wow, this is crazy. And then the second video when I watched it, I thought, it's a bit, I don't know, but cool. Now, last thing I'm gonna state. I'm gonna do a recap, but last thing I'm gonna state. On yesterday on Elaine the Payne's live, someone came on the live that's supposed to have known Ashley, but in the live it's confirmed, and she said that it was Ashley. It said that it was Ashley's birthday. You get me? He said it was Ashley Ann's birthday. Yeah, and she said that the same thing happened to her, and that Ashley Ann has a child. Well, Ashley Ann don't have a child. So, and then in the live, it states, oh yeah, Lois was texting her phone. And in my head, I'm thinking, raw, like, so hold on, we've gone to the points where now, because we're trying to paint a certain narrative and trying to get a full story out there, we've gone down the routes of now bringing people on the live and saying that, flipping, oh yeah, my girl, the same thing happened to her and she don't want to come forward because she's got a child. She don't have a child and it wasn't her birthday. Get me? And now we can get that recording up from Elaine the Payne's live. I was in Elaine the Payne's live just briefly when I heard someone said, well, the report to test all these date rape drugs along the lines of, well, it came from the suspect. No, it came from the police. So I'm going to finish it like this, and I'm just going to give you a conclusion and say, look, Lois had a good time. She got lit. And whatever's happened afterwards, she had a one-night stand. Now, waking up in the morning or whatnot, just like Elaine the Payne said something to do with her keys and whatnot, I don't know. I don't know around that. But one thing that we know for sure is the story she told you is not 100% the story. Now, whether she remembers bits and being blacked out and waking up in a man's bed and not remember it, the facts of the trial and why the suspect got a unanimous decision, 12 people said not guilty because of these key factors. CCTV proven, showing Uber accountants, Uber orders when my man's booked his Uber before he's even seen Lois. His Uber's coming. He's gone round, then he's seen Lois. Lois has hollered him. He's gone over. Somehow, Lois has kissed him. This is CCTV. Not he has kissed Lois. Lois has kissed him. The other guy being there, Lois used to date him. The other guy said, other guy knows where Lois lives. You want me to drop you home? No. I'm going back with him. Them in the Uber, outside the Uber. Them speaking to Ashley Ann. Whatever her name is. Ashley Ann, same thing. Not the next day in the morning. Proof. You got my phone. She knows she's got Ashley Ann's phone. So you know. Ring doorbell evidence. Footage. They're both coming in late at night. Her being perfectly fine. Are you okay? Do you want to go inside? Okay. Ring doorbell footage, audio and camera footage for you lot to see. Respectfully, for you lot to see. So all these areas now, for me, it's like, these are, okay, what's happening now? What she blacked out and then she didn't know that shit. Come on, guys, man. Like, let's cut the crap. Listen, one thing I always do, and a lot of people always try to say, oh yeah, man's against women, and show me where man's calling out LV General or man's reporting on all these things. Show all my reports. Show me. Because when man's doing these things, outing people that's slashing up girls, putting hands, stalkers, all of these things, I'm using my platform. And the reason why I'm speaking like this, because we can't allow someone to come on the internet and tell you a fabricated story. That was a great breakdown, Oscar performance. And then at the end, she wants to kind of break down and say, "Oh, sorry guys." Afterwards, that they was thinking about flipping the about Netflix. Oh no, it was Andy from Netflix. Like, we just wanted to get their attention. Andy has already got a show on Netflix. Respectfully, you get me? But we can't say all of these stuff, and we can't allow people to come on the internet and say all this stuff respectfully. And you lot, that's in the comments, I get it. Like, she sold you lot a dream, and she sold all of us a dream. But respectfully, this is what I realized. This is actually mad deep and it's serious here, and that's the facts. But anyone can come forward and see the facts for themselves. So when you're watching this version of events, and when Ashley Ann is coming forward and saying her version, because she never was going to come forward, and why is she coming forward to say all of these things are not true? Why is she going to do that? What's she going to benefit from it? But I'll tell you what's going to happen with Loyce and why Loyce started speaking. Loyce does the internet stuff. I knew about this. I told Loyce, I can provide and show you all the screenshots and show you that Loyce is like, bro, who told you? Who told you? Who told you? I said, Loyce, I'm not speaking on it. You get me? I cracked on. In her head, she's like, bro, I need to say what I'm going to say because this may get brought up, bro. China, all these people, all the girls and that, bro, they knew about what was going on. She's thinking that down the line, these lot are going to expose her for lying on a man for grape. So I need to tell my story before it gets told. Respectfully, that's what she's thinking. I.e., that's what she's thinking. She's come and told who does a fucking 3-part series? Like, bro, like, this is a serious thing. Like, who does a 3-part breakdown and then analyzes the room? And then from analyzing the room, on the second one, she's addressing trolls. Then on the third one, she's addressing trolls. You're gonna tell such a traumatic thing and tell your truth, and then you're gonna put that to bed. You're not gonna do a 3-4 mark. Then we're waiting for the next mad, serious segment. Like, come on, man, let's be for real. Like, you're getting real victims that at Netflix, and then you're doubling down and saying, oh no, it's because Andy, we want to make this post here be known. We want to make this post be known. Like, huh? You get me? Like, it doesn't even make sense. Look, where is it?
Thank you for returning for part 2.
Like, look, chapter 3, the aftermath. Part 2, the aftermath. And then man's at Netflix. And then now you're trying to address it. Bro, we know what it was. We can see what it was. And what you should have done, you should have just been quiet. My man's going through a bad time. He's lost his job. Like, it's dark, bro. It's dark. Like, it's dark. But guess what? Now we don't go down the traditional system in court. We don't go down that. We don't forget about a guilty or not guilty. If it's guilty, you're guilty. If it's not guilty, you're still guilty. If it's not guilty, you're still guilty. Anyone could come on the internet and tell you a version of events, and then now the facts of what's happened, this fact. Backed up, anyone hit me up, please. I'll give you the details of the people for your own peace of mind, yeah, with respect, with receipts. Everything that I've said has come with facts and receipts. You can see for your own eyes, and then I hope when you see for your own eyes, you make a video and said, you know what? But you lot won't. To the people that actually know the truth, you're scared to make a video. You're scared to stand up for bullshit like this. This is a Victoria Everest thing. Man, really targeted. She targeted actual vulnerable people. And then now she's got all you lot thinking, no matter, you probably still believe her. No problem. It's not. I'm not here to be the good guy. I'm here to let you know that there is a joke. That's a joke. It's a joke, Oscar performance. But everything I said comes with facts of the case. Anyway, I leave it like that, man. I leave it like that. That's a 3-hour segment. Get me? And I leave it like that.